Hi, everybody. Welcome to MJ Comics. I'm James Mack, and I'm really excited to introduce today Sunil, aka Ilson Comics, for joining me. I've been really excited all week for you to join, and thank you for joining, mate.
Do you know what the silly thing there was? When you started saying I'm really excited, I was like, oh, I wonder who's on the show. Oh, it's me. I remember that. No, you said it. I was like, oh gosh, who's he got? Oh, it's me. It's me. I'm here. I'm here.
No,
Thanks.
it's amazing because I know we've talked privately
Yeah,
about you coming on for ages, and I've been really wanting you to come on. I've just been lazy. That's what but
really lazy. This exists as somewhat of a paradox for me because on the one hand, I absolutely love doing this stuff and I'm thrilled to be on. And on the other hand, I think it's crazy that anybody wants to listen to me rabbiting on. So I'm going to flip between those two emotions as we go through the show of being utterly delighted to be here and also having incredible imposter syndrome that this is going to be
no,
useful
mate.
in any way
I'm
entertaining for anyone.
So the reason why I've always wanted you to come on is because I kind of, for me, I see you as like a subject matter expert in like golden age comic books from like in my vicinity of people that I know. But yeah, so that's why I really wanted you on there because obviously ever since you know, how many months ago did you purchase a big
It would have been December time.
December time? Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I can pinpoint that because I picked it up, and we'll talk a little bit about the picking of it up. But I walked Oxford Street, um, and the Christmas lights were up, and it actually came with me to a work Christmas do, the most
That's
expensive,
amazing.
sorry, the second most expensive purchase of my life after my house,
Yeah,
and I took it with me to a office Christmas party, and I wore
that's
my backpack all night.
oh my, that I bet you like I mean, do you get like a Christmassy feeling at Christmas? Like that would just be like a memory that you'll
Yeah,
always
I
hold.
think it will actually. It'll have a little reflection of just that period of time, just walking down Oxford Street, having a
Yeah,
very surreal conversation with someone, and then that being in my pocket. Or
yeah,
that,
but pretty scary when you think about in case
yeah,
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 but
yeah.
amazing. No, it's amazing. If I just quickly say hello to people who are watching,
Yes.
thank you for everybody for watching. We've got Chris Bell. Thank you, Chris, for joining. We've got my wife. Thank you for supporting us.
Oh, thanks,
Um,
John.
we've got my guest, Sunil. And we
Oh,
also have
Chris's name
Dead
on.
Man. Thank you for joining us, Dead Man. But yeah, if you've got any questions you want to put to Sunil, please just go ahead, and I'm sure he's happy to answer them, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to answer anything. I will be as transparent as I can be.
Brilliant, brilliant. So if we start the process, I've put
Yeah,
together some questions for you.
wonderful.
Um, they're relatively straightforward, so there's nothing to worry about. You're pretty you're pretty clean, so there's no low ball.
I don't think there's anything I'd be nervous about answering. It's an interesting question. Like, what would you not want to talk about? I imagine if you and I had, in my broadcast days, I worked for the BBC, and you
Yeah.
didn't ever ask. You didn't ever ask what's off limits.
Oh, you
You
never?
never, no, you never asked a guest what's off limits because that's a sort of breach of the editorial policy. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's things that you shouldn't ask. Um, just out of politeness, you shouldn't ask. But I never asked anyone. Um, but I do think, I've definitely had a number of people in the past. I had Will Smith on the show once, and the
Oh,
publicist said, "Don't ask about dot 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 dot, including Scientology."
oh, really?
Yeah,
Amazing. That's
yeah,
amazing.
she was quite tense. I think because they were promoting, it was Sony Pictures, and they were promoting some
Bad
space movie
boys.
with him and
Uh,
Jaden.
oh yeah, that pre with that one where it's father and son. That
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one. And they just had the John Travolta Sony Scientology movie, and they were like, everyone was a bit
Oh yeah.
nervous around it.
Yeah, I bet. But everybody, this is the type of caliber of the guest that I've got tonight. He's casually dropping Will Smith's name in his conversation.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm a name dropper, but I've got a ferocious reputation at work for
How
dropping
have you?
names. Yeah, honestly, the young people I work with think I'm like 100 years old because I'll happily name drop wherever I can. I don't think I'm doing it, but apparently I am. Apparently I'm awful for it. But there we go.
Oh
We'll
well.
find out over the course of the evening.
Do you know when you say like the young people at work? I mean, I it's only been like the last few, I don't know, perhaps 5 years where I felt like the next generation have come in, like the work generation. And then when
Yeah,
you're talking about a subject and they go, "Oh, what you talking? What's that? What's that?" And you're like, "What? You don't know who Sonic the Hedgehog is?"
yeah.
Or you're like just like that used to be me when like the generation above me were talking about.
So broadly on that, I I've got no problem with people not knowing stuff. So I listen to a lot of hip hop, and there's always anger in the hip hop
Yeah.
community that whoever the latest rapper is unaware of Biggie or
Mhm.
unaware of Tupac, and it's a crime that Little Turk or whatever doesn't know who Tupac is. And you're like, well, yeah, but his mum wasn't born when Tupac was alive, so why would he know? Like, it just
Yeah,
becomes this
exactly. Yeah.
sort of insane piece. The bit that irritates me is I love a cultural reference. I spend my life trying to hit cultural references that people on my team will get. And Kyle on my team, honestly, no
The
matter what reference I make, he's got no idea what I'm talking about. I've dropped like deep soul music references. He's got a film studies degree. I
films.
scatter conversations with, references to award-winning movies, and he's got no idea what I'm talking about at any point. I'm like, for God's sake, I
Well,
cannot hit him with
Kyle,
one. He goes, I know that. Um,
well, you can tell him to watch this back and tell him that we were
yeah,
talking about him.
I know, I know. I said we were talking about something. There was like a project that was coming to a conclusion, and I said, "Get all applications into me before the deadline." A little pause, and I said, "Shout out Mike Skinner." And not only did no one get the "Let's push things forward" reference, but no one knew who Mike Skinner was either. I was like, "For fuck's sake." It was a great gag as well. It was wasted on these
Oh
heathens.
my days! You sound like so I take it you're their boss.
Yes.
Yes, from the way that from the way that you were interacting with them, like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Chris Bell's just asked, "Who's the least interesting person you've ever come across?" So I said no questions were off limits, but I've got to say I'm struggling to think of who. Oh, I tell you who was awful. Daisy Ridley.
Oh, really?
Daisy Ridley. She came in. We did a thing with her at Facebook. She was doing the home ents release for the middle one. Rise. Rise, is that Rise of the Skywalker?
No, it's the what's something Jedi. Which one is it? Is it the Last Jedi?
Isn't that the final one?
No, I think isn't that the Rise of Rise of Skywalker or something or
Is that
something
is
like
that
that?
okay? It was the
I
middle
don't know.
one. Whichever
Yeah,
one was the middle one.
yeah.
I can't remember the name the first one was now. God's sake, I should know this.
Force Awakens was the first one.
Force
I
Awakens.
remember.
It wasn't. No, you know what? It was. It was Force Awakens. It was Force Awakens. Force Awakens. Home ends. And she came in, and she was obviously not interested in talking to any of us.
Yeah,
Like literally, like absolutely not interested. And my whole thing is, she's working. I'm working. There's no need for like me to like cramp her style. I'm cool with it. So I was just sat working. So she was in the room and she was about to do her live bit, and they had an
yeah.
interviewer. Everyone was settled. I'd got her a drink. She was sort of seemingly fine, and she was talking to her publicist, and I was just sat working. And she just sort of very loudly shouted, God, that's the problem with people these days. They're all too busy on their computers and phones to even make small talk. And I was like, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? She was like, yeah. I was like,
Head up from computer. Are you talking to me?
talking to me? And she was like, yes. And I was like, well, sorry, you were talking with your publicist about what's happening this week. So two things. Number one, I'm not in the conversation. And two, it would be very rude of me to just stand and
Yeah,
listen. So
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm more than happy to chat. Like, I'd love to chat. We can talk about all kinds of things, but I'm not going to interfere in your conversation. Yeah, because so it was less. Well, not that she was not interesting, but she was just very rude. I felt she was very.
yeah,
I think, to be honest, I think she was just probably pissed off that she'd found herself as the only one doing the home ends promo, and everyone else was on the beach.
yeah. And I think, to be fair, I'm guessing was that her first like big.
Yeah,
But you
yeah, I
think
think
you
it
wouldn't
was.
really have an attitude, would you? That I don't know.
Yeah, I think she was probably tired. To be honest, I don't think she's a bad person, but I think she was probably tired of it all.
We
I'm
we have
amazed
a
that she's coming back to do the next one.
Yeah, especially after the reception of the final one.
Yeah, I'm surprised that she wants to do anything with that franchise again. In the same way that if you told me John Boyega was coming back, I'd be like, "You've gone mad." That
Yeah,
kid clearly does not. It did not enjoy this. at
No,
all.
not all. Not at
Um,
all. You got pretty screwed over from the sounds of it.
yeah, I think they did. Yeah, I think he got sold one character and then ended up being a very different character.
Very much, yeah. So we got a local celebrity in the house. We've got Jason Parker from Jason Parker Comics. Thanks, Jason, for joining.
There's no
Um,
9.8 tonight, Jason.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Chris Bell, rude is uninteresting, to be fair. So
Yeah, yeah. So
right. So
yeah,
if we get sorry,
crazy.
sorry. So if we start with the first question,
Yes.
who is or what is Ilson Comics?
Yeah. So I grew up as quite the hip hop fan.
Okay.
And at some point, there was a conversation I had about what would my MC name be if I was to become a world famous rapper. And my name is Sunil, so Sunil.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think we were probably a little bit after it in terms of timeline, but Ill Communication was a firm favourite.
Oh,
Beastie
okay.
Boys. So that it was like first album was Licensed to Ill, and then a few albums later, I think after Paul's Boutique and Check Your Head, then the fourth album is Ill Communication. So it became that.
Oh, wow.
Ilson was a sort of a combination of my name in a different
Right.
order, and it would be my alter ego if I was to become a rapper. Sad thing is, I can't rap. I just
You
do
know,
not have vocal range for it. I've spent a lot of my life trying hip hop karaoke. I can absolutely do, although culturally the world has moved on, so I'm too panicked to do it publicly anymore. There's video footage of me at my a previous birthday
yeah.
rapping Cardi B's Bodak Yellow,
Oh,
and
wow.
I watched it back sober the next day with genuine fear of Jesus Christ. If I rapped the N word in a public place, I didn't, but I
Yeah.
didn't, but I did think, God, that could have happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Then,
so, so Ilsun has been my moniker on Twitter and
yeah.
every other social network, including Friendster and MySpace, right the way through. So any social network that is ever launched,
Yeah.
uh, you will find me there as at Ilsun. I literally anyone that launches, I'm there day one, claiming my handle. So
Yeah.
when
Okay.
so when I started, I mean, I'm in the sort of Facebook groups as Sunil, but when I started trading comics, and especially on Instagram, Ilsun_comics made more sense than doing it all through my normal account.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I first met you on Facebook.
I think it would
Would
have
have
been,
been Facebook.
yeah.
I think I think you like hosted like I want to say like a Christmas quiz or something like
I
that.
did. We did a Christmas quiz. It was quite
Yeah.
fun.
It was brilliant. And that was the first time as well. I'd already obviously done stuff with
Yeah,
Jason Parker,
yeah.
but that was the first time I met Triple G Comics.
Yes, yes, and he was good. He had the answers.
He was really good, and as well, I think he actually sent me a comic
Yeah,
for
he
coming
did.
second.
Yeah, he did. He did. He did a runners up prize. I did a top prize, and he did a runners up prize, which was really kind of him. And then I don't know whether I don't think you played the second year because we did it 2 years. The second year was unhinged. It was a
Oh,
lad called
was it?
Sammy Clark who, bless him, nice lad, didn't know the answer to any question. Just literally wrote, "I am Groot" for every question.
Did was one of them right or not?
No, it wasn't.
No.
I thought as I was doing it, I should just rewrite a question so the answer is "I am Groot" comes up, but I didn't in the end. I think he did get a couple. I think there was a couple of Guardians of the Galaxy ones that he really knew.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, I think that was first place we interacted, and then you sort of churned out of Facebook, and we catch each other on Instagram and whatnot. Uh,
I'm forever constantly messaging asking for um help or information or anything that he might. I'm genuinely so pleased to have met you. So
so I mean, this is I mean, there's a few people watching. I will say this: I'm always honoured to be asked. If someone's got a question, I'm always honoured to be asked. So I'm more than happy to give people my thoughts and my opinions, except if you're a dipshit. And I'll say this because there's two lads at the moment who message me honestly on a just like a daily basis, And
I'm one of them.
no. No, there's 2 lads at the moment, and I'm happy to help people, but just sometimes questions get asked, and I think to myself, "I can't help you." Question yesterday, what do I put in the box that says shipping address?
What?
I was like, "Well," I was like, "I don't know how to answer this. Where do you want the parcel to go?"
To go.
They were like, "To my house." And I was like, "Well, I suggest you put that in the shipping address."
Oh my days.
It's like, I don't know how to help here. Like, these are the
Yeah.
basics.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think they take credit cards? I'm like, "Well, yes."
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's cash.
I genuinely do think that a major international auction house takes credit cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they gonna charge you? That's a different question. But
Yeah,
are
of
they gonna
course.
take it? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anytime and listen, and you and I have had a bunch of questions because you're on the hunt for something. I'm happy to answer them. Happy to answer. Anytime anyone's got a question, come through.
Yeah, and you are, you're quick to reply as well. You're not like, he's,
Oh, I'm on it all the time. I'm probably too quick to reply. Look at the state of my grammar. I'm too quick to
oh,
reply.
mate, my grammar's I don't even look what I'm typing sometimes. I just quickly go and then I'm off. But we got, Jason Parker sold his Avengers #1.
Very good, very good. I
He
that I had my eye on that sale. The lad that he sold it to is quite the hard negotiator, and I think
Oh,
an
really?
unpleasantly hard negotiator. So I think Jason did well. Stick to his
Well done,
guns.
Jason.
It was
Yeah.
it was it was a very very well priced book. It caught my eye. I saw it. And I thought that's a well priced book. Jason has landed that very well.
Yeah. He's, licensed to ill.
Yeah, License to Hill, and I think someone else shouted out Paul's Boutique. License
Yes,
to Ill
as
was
well.
yeah, Paul. Yeah, I think it's at different generations of my life. I've understood. I've understood music in different ways, but Paul's Boutique is
Yeah.
is a classic if you've never heard it.
There's
Yeah,
no helping some people, obviously, in reference to these 2 people that Sunil's
fab.
dealing with. Hi, Kenneth. Thanks for joining us. And we've also got Keep It Geeky. Thank you.
Yes,
Is that Jahan?
yeah, that's Jahan.
Uh, welcome, Jahan. Thank you for watching, buddy. Yeah, so obviously that's how your moniker came about.
Yeah,
So next question. So in terms of Golden Age comic books, presumably you didn't grow up reading Golden Age comic books. Like from the 1940s, you would have grown up obviously probably reading books from the 80s, I'm guessing.
yep,
What-
yep, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the first book I bought was '88, and it was
Oh,
off the
wow.
newsstands.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
So what sparked your interest in collecting Golden Age comic
yeah.
books and how did it get started?
So, so I read a lot of contemporary books in the '80s and '90s, very much off the newsstand from newsagents, and then like late '80s, early '90s from the comic shops in London, and predominantly bought Bronze Age books.
Yeah.
And I think there used to be like, what, maybe one Silver Age book, maybe one or
No.
two, like probably absolute beat readers,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not
Just to
keen
get
in any
hold of
way.
it.
Just saw it and thought, oh, that's cool. Just get that because it's an old one. And and then really, I fell in love with music and discovered girls and just stopped collecting. And probably other things like computer games and whatever, and just sort of phased out of it. And
So what is that during your
about
teens, would you say?
93 probably. So I would
Okay.
have been 13 years old. Just stopped really collecting.
So
And
probably just as maybe the comic book industry was probably on the
yeah,
decline.
well, so I bought off the newsstand Death of Superman, Superman 75, Spawn 1, Max 1, Pit 1,
Yeah.
and was part of that. And I think probably that era, although I wasn't affected by the bubble and speculation and all those things,
Yeah.
as a lot of dealers were, I think just the low quality combined with being distracted by other things just meant it was not something
Yeah.
that I wanted to focus on. Um, so I sort of churned out and then 25 years went by.
Wow.
And I was turning, is that right? Yeah, about 25 years. So I would have been 39, and my best friend Andy, who collected with me when I was a kid, was turning 40.
Yeah.
He's a very dear friend. He's been an incredible, incredible part of my life. And
Is
I
that
wanted to,
is that VFN Comics?
yeah, VFN Comics, yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, at VFN Comics on Instagram. And I wanted to buy him a present for his 40th.
Yeah.
And actually, my first plan was over your shoulder was that I was going to get him something Nintendo based because he was a massive Nintendo fan.
Yeah.
But in conversation with him, I became abundantly aware that he had a lot of Nintendo stuff, a lot, and trying to work out without giving it away what he had and what he didn't have was going to be really hard. So I decided to buy a comic. He is a massive, massive X-Men fan, so I didn't want to touch X-Men because I thought, again, I'm not going to know what he's
You don't
got,
know
what
what
he
he's gonna.
hasn't got, and it's going to be. I don't want to get a worse grade of something. So I decided I would do some research, and I did a ton of research, and I looked at a bunch of stuff, and of course I discovered CGC, which hadn't existed when I'd
Yeah.
stopped collecting. So then I did a ton of reading, ton of investigation, searched daily on eBay for about 3 months, trying to
Yeah.
work out what to get him. And in that time, I found the item I was looking for. I found something that was right in the right price point and looked like a cool thing. And in my head, he's not going to have one.
Yeah.
And I bought it, and I said to my wife, "Oh, I got Andy's present last night," and she was like, "Oh, but it's already arrived." And I was like, "No, no, it hasn't. I ordered it last night. It's going to come in the post." And she's like, "But there's been loads of boxes that have arrived over the last month. I thought one of them was Andy's." And I was like, "No, they're for me."
So while you were looking for Andy, you would come across loads.
Yeah. So I'd come across, and before I stopped collecting, it was very much like a Captain America 350
Yeah.
or, like books now that you could buy for £2.
Yeah.
And there were some books that were so iconic in my mind that when I came back to it 25 years later and thought, I can just afford that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can afford a Captain America 100 in probably a 3.0 for 60 quid. I can
Yeah.
afford that. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to just buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to buy it. So I did. I bought it. I bought Doctor Strange 169, and then I was at my mum's, and I said to her, I was like, "You're never gonna believe it. I've picked up some comics again. Like after years of not buying it, like I've just bought some comics." And she was like, "Brilliant news," and I was like, "Weird reaction, okay." And then my dad came in the room about 10 minutes later, and he's like, "Oh, brilliant news about the comics." I was like, "What a weird thing to say.
Is
What
it?
do we mean, brilliant
I
news?"
can see
He
where
was
this
like,
is going.
"Can you take the
This
1,000 that you've got in the shed home?" I was like, "No way." I was like, "You serious?"
That's incredible.
So my recollection was when I got my first job in London, I had to pay a £700 deposit
Yeah.
for the flat, and I didn't have 700 quid. I just, just didn't have the
No.
money.
No.
So I sold. I thought in my head I'd sold my entire comic collection to Chaos City Comics in St
Yeah.
Albans for 700 quid. Turns out I hadn't. I'd sold my Spawn run, and a bunch of other bits. I can't really remember what they were, but I'd sold
Yeah.
700 quid worth of comics to them, paid my deposit. But in the house, I still had a whole bunch of stuff, some early Cap,
Wow.
a complete McFarlane run, 298 to 326.
26. Yeah.
A complete run of New Teen Titans 1 to 91.
Wow.
Just like all these old books, like a bunch of old first print Bone books. Yeah, just a whole array. And then I gave Andy his in August of 2018. Yeah, 2018. And he was delighted. It was a Thor 337 9.6,
Oh.
triple signed.
Wow.
Stan, Walt, Louise, Simonson.
Amazing.
It's glorious.
Yeah.
Glorious. Although it came from eBay and it had a slight crack in the case. And the guy sent me Guy sent me the money back, like a refund, on the case. I just didn't realise at the time just how painful it was to get it to get it,
Yeah, yeah, I bet.
upgraded.
Especially, yeah. So
Yeah,
what year was this roughly?
2018.
2018. Okay, so what? Okay.
Yeah, so 2018, and then I started buying, and I and you're going to laugh at this, especially compared to the question that we've got on the screen. I started buying again, and it was I was just buying covers I liked.
Yeah.
Turns out the industry is based on making good covers, so
Yes.
that's not a sustainable collecting approach. Just good covers. Turns out that's basically most of them. It should by default have a good cover. That is
Yes.
the bare minimum. A good
Yep.
story is a different thing, but it
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
a cover. So my collection, well, I had like 6 books, then it ballooned to 1,006 books because of the sort of the arrival of all the old ones.
Yeah.
And then it got to about 1,800, and I thought, this is out of control. This is just
Yeah.
wild. So I went from 1,800 to 600 in
Okay.
pretty quick time
Yeah.
period. And I learned a couple of things in that process. Number one, I love selling comics.
Okay.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I work in a very digital organization world.
Yeah.
Um, and there are days when it just doesn't feel very real, and the tangible joy
Yeah.
of
So
I
holding something.
bought
Yeah.
something for £5 and I sell it for £6 and I strike a deal with somebody and they feel happy and I feel happy, and that is a job done. I love
Yeah.
it.
Job's a
I
good
just
one. Yeah.
after a day of just sending emails, just to go, you know what? And like today, back to back conference calls from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. tonight, and in the middle of that, somebody turned up and dropped off 400 X-Men books, and tomorrow I will probably sell 50 X-Men books tomorrow, and I
Wow.
will feel delighted.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that will feel closer to like joy in my heart that tomorrow I will sell 50 X-Men books, and I think probably about 15 people, and they will all be delighted,
I bet.
absolutely delighted with the books they're going to get. So
Eh,
I've seen a long time. During that process, I learned a lot about how, because I'm very digital first. I worked at Twitter for a number of years. I worked at Instagram for a number of years. I discovered the Instagram community on for comics,
Yeah.
and
Great community, by the way. Great community.
yeah, I much prefer it to the Facebook community.
Definitely.
Um, and I was watching a gentleman by the name of Jeff Itkin, who goes by the Instagram handle Golden Age Guru.
Yes.
He was doing a Instagram live sale, and it was the Robert Thus collection. So he had got this collection from an original owner, and in it there was a story about this guy Robert Thus. His dad used to be a cigar smoker, and on a
Yeah.
Saturday he would go to the newsagent, he would buy a cigar for himself, and he would
And a
give the
comic.
kids $3, and they would buy whatever comics they had, and they'd kept
Yeah.
them all their lives. It was this collection, and he had books on the back wall that I was like, fuck me. Every book he showed, I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
Never seen them. I'd never seen them reprinted. I didn't know they existed. He was showing that collection was very DC more than Marvel, or timely, I should say. So
Yeah.
it was very Batman, uh, Superman, Wonder Woman, like a whole bunch of different books. And I saw it's not the exact copy. It's a
Oh, I'll
different
make you
copy.
big. I'll make you big.
Hang on. Let me find it. Oh gosh, everything's stuck together. Yeah, I saw this book, although not this exact copy.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I saw
hold on.
that, and I thought to myself,
That
I've got
is.
to own it.
So you
I've got,
saw that on the back wall?
yeah, I saw that on the wall, and I paid. It was a raw copy, and I think it was about $400.
So
Um,
so was that your first Golden Age book?
yeah,
So right, you tried to tempt me with that as my first
yeah,
Golden Age,
yeah,
not that exact,
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
that
yeah,
copy there, but I
yeah,
mean that cover is so literally it's so striking. It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's an absolute iconic cover, and I saw it, and he did 2 days of sales, and he sold a lot of the books. And I bought that, and I bought, I think, probably about 5 others.
Yeah.
And I got a bill on the Monday morning for 2.5 grand. And I was like, shit,
Yeah.
wild. But they're lovely books. It was a really gorgeous collection. If anyone is on Facebook, Richard Carter is selling one of the ones that I bought from that collection. I did a Batman 27 Christmas cover. It's absolutely remarkable. It's an
Fantastic.
absolutely remarkable book. He bought it from me, and he's selling it as part of that lot. And from there, I started picking up other Superman books in that era when I saw them.
Yeah.
And it was predominantly Superman. I bought some non-Superman books. I bought a couple of Sensation comics, a couple of Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, a couple of Batman, and then I basically just moved them all off because you can't have everything. Can't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if we've got rules coming up, but you can't have everything. So I sold them all, and then I was like, I'm just going to collect the Superman ones, and then it started becoming runs, like little mini runs of like, oh, I've got 3 connecting ones here, and 3 connecting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then before I knew it, there came this notion: could I buy all the Superman books released in the 1940s? And the reason for the 1940s is I don't, and there'll probably be Superman fans who'll be horrified by this. I don't love the 50s books.
Yeah.
They become quite campy, and I think the stories get slightly worse. So I
Yeah.
like the 1940s ones much more than I like the 50s, in the same way that I like the 70s much more than I like the 60s.
Because it's quite a bit of like the 50s is a bit like a love era, isn't it? Like everybody, the
Yeah,
world's a bit more happy place, and it's
yeah, it just wasn't great. So I I tried to get, or the plan was to get up to 1949. December 1949 is Superman 61, which is also the first Kryptonite in that
wow.
issue. So it felt like a nice end point. December
Yeah,
49,
very.
first Kryptonite, nice. So to do that, I had to get 4 to 61. That was the game, 4 to
Yeah.
61. And in my head, I thought it was impossible. I thought there's no way that I'm ever going to do this. It's going to be like a
Yeah.
multi-decade plan. And then out of the blue came this, which is a Superman 3.
Oh, unbelievable.
And the Superman 3 then caused a problem because I didn't have a 4, but now I had a 3. And
Yeah.
the 5, I'm going to get into a technicality here. The 5 is listed as winter 1940.
Yeah.
And oh God, my finger's going the wrong way. I've had this war with CGC. It's wrong. But all of them are wrong.
Yeah.
So CGC call this book Winter 1940. It's not. It's Winter 1939.
Yeah.
Because the book before it is Fall 1939, and the book after is January 1940. And I've argued it with CGC, and
Yeah.
they were like, "No, we're not having it. You're wrong." I'm like, "I'm not wrong. Number 2 says Fall 1939.
Yeah.
This would be Winter 1949, and number 4 says January 1940. So according to your wording, January comes before winter. That's
Yeah.
not true.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's not
Exactly.
true. So
That's crazy.
I picked up that, and then I managed to pick up a 2, which is a sort of cursory tale. I think it's okay to say names. Nerdy
Cool.
Girl Comics. Got
Danielle.
into Yes, Danielle got into a very, very big vocal argument with a known comic buyer, who, to be honest, is a bit of a prick. He
Sorry,
he
Jason.
he, he Danielle took a 20% deposit on a Superman 2, and the guy just didn't pay up the rest. And the book was
Oh,
just sitting around in her house. She was like, "You're
yeah.
gonna pay up," and she got the hump, and rightly. And I get the hump about this. It's fine if you've got timed payments. I
Yeah.
always do time payments for books, especially big books, because big books shouldn't be the domains of cash rich people. But he kept buying books other places, and it was beginning to piss her off. She was like, "Well, I can see you spending money elsewhere."
Yeah,
So
exactly. I think I remembered it. I think I
yeah.
remember. Yeah.
So she got into a really big row with him very publicly. She was leaking the receipts, and she was saying this and this, and he was saying this and this and this. And I dropped her a DM, and I was like, "Just so we're clear, he paid 20% non-refundable deposit on a Superman 2." She
Yeah.
was like, "Yep." And I was like, "Right. So you've got that book in your head at 100%, and you've already got 20% of it." And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Cool. If I give you the other 80% in cash
You see.
today, can I have it?" She was like, "100%."
Oh wow, incredible.
So I stuck in. Uh, so then I had 2, and then I filled in a bunch of the gaps, and then I got 2 to 61, and then it stayed like that for ages.
Yeah.
And I argued so many times in public, in private, in conversation, in my head, didn't need a 1.
Yeah.
Because one's a reprint of old Action Comic stories. Don't need a
Yeah.
1. I've got 2 to
Yeah.
61. Don't need a 1.
Yeah.
Don't need a
Yeah.
1. Don't need a 1. Convince myself. Convince myself. Said it a million times. Reader, he did need a number 1. I think I've taken 37 minutes, and you're on question 2.
No, it's right, buddy. It's right. We've got a couple of questions from the audience, but we'll get them
Yeah.
quickly. Chris Bell, I believe you're not a huge fan of modern, certainly not from an investment perspective, but do you rate Silver and Bronze Age for potential inheritance fodder,
Yeah.
basically for my kids when I'm gone?
Yeah. So I believe firmly. Let's go through it in statements. Not a huge fan of modern. Not true. I I think I love Something's Killing the Children. I
Yeah.
loved 8 Billion Genies. I think there's huge excitement around some of the Ultimate stuff that's happening at the moment. I think there's loads of great modern stuff being created. My point is I don't know about it,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I don't want to preach the gospel of things, and I also don't want to be one of those guys that like is only in it for the money.
Yeah.
That's sort of speculatory. And by the way, I have been accused of being a flipper and worse things, and that's true. I buy books and I sell them for more money. So
Yes.
I have got blood on my hands.
That is how the
But
world works, unfortunately.
yeah, but I know the stuff that I trade.
Yeah.
So the books that came in today, 2 long boxes of books that came in today, I know what those books are. I know
And
what they are.
the thing is, their X-Men is so hot right now
So hot, and
because
it's like Trial of Magneto's in there,
yeah,
First Jubilee's in there, First Sentinels, First Juggernaut. Like
yeah,
there's a whole bunch. So I believe in dealing with what you know. So it's not that I'm not a fan of modern. I just can't predict it. I don't know
yeah,
it well enough, and I can't predict it. Do I think that silver and bronze will have a place? Yeah, absolutely. The
yeah,
gap between us, this is probably not 100% accurate, but I think it is. The gap between us and the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man 1 is now longer than the gap between Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Fantasy 15.
yeah,
Like like the period we're
yeah,
talking about,
the 30
bronze
years.
books. Yeah,
Yeah.
bronze books are fucking old.
Yeah, yeah, they
I point
definitely
this
are.
out all the time. I'm like, mate, this book is really old. I was selling some bronze Master of Kung Fu. I was like, it's a nigh on 50-year-old book.
Yeah,
Like, Jesus, like this stuff is old. This stuff
yeah,
should not exist in the quality it exists in. So, do I think the silver and bronze stuff? Yes, I think there is a higher volume of it. I think there are more people that knew what it was worth. So, I think I think scarcity will come into it. I think demand is going to be the huge story.
yeah,
Huge story. Do the kids grow up wanting this stuff?
yeah,
And houses are getting smaller. People's physical possessions are getting fewer and fewer. And you do see quirks, right? The growth of vinyl sales again. But I think my kids will have less clutter in their life
yeah,
than than we have in our houses. So I think key books will be solid and grow. I think
yeah,
there will be fewer and fewer people that want to complete the run.
yeah,
So I think if you are sat on a set of Spectacular Spider-Man, good luck. I cannot see those books going up in value in a big way.
no,
And it's like killer, right? If you were a fan of that run, I sold an entire run of Spectacular Spider-Man recently. There's not a key in the whole fucking run. Like, not
Whoa,
one.
whoa, 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 whoa. It depends because
It's not.
give me a second.
You're going to show me part 6 of Craven's Last Hunt.
No. Where is it? Oh.
What's he looking for? He's looking for 101, the John Byrne cover.
No, where is it? Where is it? Right, okay. So, but what when you say key, what are we talking? So this, did you know there was variants?
I've never seen that book in my life. That's from about 1996, isn't it?
Yes, it's that's exactly what the year exactly. But this book is a variant of 231. So this came with like it was polybagged and it had a cassette in it. So it's like part of interconnecting covers. So there's like 4, so it's spread across the different titles. So you got Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, and what was the other one at the time? Web of Spider-Man. Yeah. So
I mean, like with the greatest respect, I think you've reached there.
and I have reached. Yeah, that's the.
You've reached.
Those are the books that I grew up reading in the 90s. So for me, that's what.
And by the way, not bad books, but
No.
I don't think they're going to be the ones that are going to pay for your kid's college education.
Oh no, of course not. No. That's just for my satisfaction.
Exactly. Which by the way is brilliant and should be, and that should be part of everyone's collection. What brings you joy? If your collection is just about value, can I suggest the stock market?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Like less risk. So do I rate silver and bronze for potential inheritance fodder? Yes, but I think it'll be the keys. I think the fillers will be harder and harder to shift.
Yeah.
Is my view.
Great answer. Great answer to a great question. Thank you, Chris.
Long answer.
That's why I sold my collection in 1983 to pay for a deposit on a flat and a car. Worst time of my life. Chris has also asked, would you ever go full time in books?
I've thought about it a lot. The local comic shop to me, Chaos City Comics in St Albans, is very much modern books. That's their business. Modern merch, Pokemon cards, graphic
Funko
novels,
Pops, basically stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's just yeah.
They've got a basement downstairs that sells back issues. Their back issues go back maybe 8-9 years. It's just overflow from what didn't sell off the stand. I've often thought about going in and saying to Marina, I'll pay half the rent, give me downstairs. We'll set up a pressing station for James Gower, having pressing books in store.
Wow.
So
you have thought about this quite.
I have thought about it. Yeah. And like I'll trade bronze, silver, gold out of the basement in St Albans.
Do you think you'd be able to make a living though, or like a comfortable living, or
no? I think it's an unbelievably tough market right now.
Yeah.
I think anyone that can make a full-time living out of it does really well. And I'm going to say something that's going to really offend probably the likes of Tim Plum and Incognito, because I don't make their lives easy. I can do a better deal because I've got no overheads.
Yeah.
So my overheads are, we won't get into a lengthy conversation about this. My overheads are, I am a registered business at Company's House, and I pay my corporation tax on every single book I sell. So every single book I sell, I pay my 20% corporation tax, and that is important to me as an individual. But I don't pay bricks and mortar. I don't pay staff. There's a whole bunch of stuff I don't pay. And by the way, if I sell a book and make £5 profit or £100 loss, it doesn't change my life.
No.
So I'm happy. Would I enjoy it? I think I would. Would I enjoy it less than I enjoy it as a side hustle? 100%.
Yeah.
I think it's almost, there's no pressure.
Yeah. I think with the side hustle, it's kind of like, I think it'd be like a great gig for retirement. Like, because it's something that you obviously love, and you can, if it brings in some extra funds to, on top of a pension or whatever, it's
and that's probably the plan. Is that, you know, as I get older, that maybe I spend more time doing it when I need less money.
Yeah, brilliant. We've got Paulie's Hideout, beautiful book, Sunil. It reminds me of Fleetsh's masterpiece.
Have you ever seen those? So there's a late 1940s, early 1950s animation by Max Fleischer, and it looks just like that.
I'm
Um,
so I did not know, and I'm so glad that I kind of pronounced the name kind of right.
Yes, it's kind of right. It's honestly, it's beautiful. The animation is wondrous. It's
Yeah.
it's the birthplace of the 90s Batman animated series and the Superman that goes along the
Oh,
same.
okay. Yeah.
It's like it's the I mean,
Yeah.
many generations before, but it's the birthplace of that animation style. It's wonderful. It's available on VHS and DVD. I don't think it's on any of the streamers. It's probably on
Okay.
YouTube. But
Yeah.
it is. They're cool little episodes. They're fun stories. It's a great watch.
Holy hell, that's an issue you don't encounter often in a good grade.
Yeah, I think that was 3, right? Yeah.
I'm actually the real Superman. States Simone G.
Simon G. Yeah,
Simone
yeah,
G.
yeah. I'm gonna guess they're not the real Superman.
No, I love Superman, and I'm quite a Superman myself. Not to brag,
Yeah,
AG.
yeah, fair.
Thank
Do
you very
you?
much.
Do you?
Been losing interest in modern books, collecting and shifting towards golden. The art is more appealing, and the rarity makes the hunt more satisfying.
Yeah, I agree with that, Paulies. Again, I'm in risk of offending anyone. I will say anything I say is just my opinion. I watch probably 5 hours of Instagram live sales every week. I probably spend 2 to 4 hours every week looking at heritage auctions, Comic Link, Comic Connect,
Yeah.
Goldin, like all of them.
Whoa,
If
whoa,
we
whoa, whoa! You're going into one of the other questions here. Christ,
All right,
can't.
right, sorry. But what I would say is, and again, I don't mean to disrespect anyone, but if we wanted right now, if we wanted to set a MJ Comics challenge of with an unlimited budget, could we buy Amazing Fantasy 15 all the way through to the end of the McFarlane run 326 in a week? The answer is yes.
Oh wow,
Absolutely, we could. We can find that 327 books in a week, no problem.
a
If
lot
we
of
wanted to
time though.
find,
Yeah.
no, I don't think
No,
you
you
could.
don't. Think.
No, I think I could get it done in a day.
Okay.
If we wanted to buy Flash 1 to whatever that series finishes at, I think it's like 80 something. Flash 1 to 87 a year,
No chance.
no chance. Stuff doesn't exist. Like we're talking
Yeah.
about books with 17 on the census, let alone trying to find a raw one, let alone trying to find someone who wants to sell it at that
Yeah.
point.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas you want a First Craven, bro, I can buy you 10 First Cravens tonight. I mean, I'm
You
not
are
saying they would
right.
be cheap. I'm not saying you would
Yeah.
be able to find a 9.8 or anything like that, but if we just wanted to find the issue. So to
Yeah. You
Paulie's
find them.
point, the rarity is fun, right? It's fun.
Yeah.
And on that point, I'll show you this. 104. Thank you, Dead Man. I'll show you this. This is the only variant I've got in a golden age. This is I mean, is it a variant? I don't know. This is a Superman 33, but it's listed as a Superman special edition. It's a
Yeah.
US Navy one that they gave out to people serving in the Navy.
Oh wow.
So there's 15 of these, I think, something like that. No,
Honestly,
mate, sorry, no, maybe more. Maybe, I think there's 30 on the census.
wow. That is
There's
some
a
feat.
special edition 5, which is Superman 39, and there's 5 of them on the census. But the front cover's cool. It's this bright yellow image. It's exactly
Yeah.
the same as the front cover for Superman
Right.
33. But
I
the
think.
back cover is this glorious emblem.
Wow.
And it says this book has been prepared by the publisher with the cooperation of the training activity of the Bureau of Naval Personnel for use as a supplementary reader and workbook in special training units.
Wow.
It's such a weird, like, oddity. But finding one of
Beautiful.
those in a decent grade is just very hard to find.
Yeah.
Very, very hard to find.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's a cool book.
Right. Let's get to. The comments just keep rolling in after you because you're that good at answering these questions. I might have to cut it off after this one, but I only own a small amount of golden, but one is from 1942. But it's a 9.8. That is
I don't even understand how that works.
no. Wow.
I don't even know how that works. A 9.8. I'd love to know what book it is if you're happy to share it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Shoot, we're 50 minutes into which what I said was going to be an hour. Are you pressed for time or are you
I'm
okay?
not. We've got time. I mean,
To be fair, you'd probably be selling on Whatnot, wouldn't you? Really?
probably.
You probably-
There's a YouTube video of me at the University of California. It's the video's about an hour and 20 minutes long. I I probably shouldn't refer to the video because I commit an SEC violation halfway
oh,
through the
God.
video, which no one's ever caught. But it's an hour and 20-minute video. The interviewer asks one question, and I talked for an
Just
hour
for
and
an hour.
19 minutes without
That's
pausing.
what.
Hour and 19 minutes.
That's why I booked you. That's why I booked you. Right. Okay. So, next question is: what draws you to Superman as a character, and how has he personally impacted your life?
So this is probably a little bit of a heavy story.
Okay.
I obviously Indian descent. I was born in the UK. I travelled to India for the first time in 1984.
Yeah.
And I was brought up in a household that was my dad knew that he was never going to go back to India to live. And he sort of wanted us, myself, my sister, to be as English as possible so that we didn't stick out, so that we could live a life where we were accepted.
Yeah.
So we didn't learn Hindi as kids. We had a very English upbringing. You know, we did sort of very sort of traditionally English things.
So you were kind of like very much integrated into the
Yeah,
British.
yeah. Well, that was his hope and his ambition. So you know, we ate meat and things like that. And we went back to India for the first time in '84, and I found it traumatic. Genuinely,
What
I just felt like
culture
even at that
shock?
school. Yeah, massive culture shock. It's a hard place to travel as a kid. I didn't like the food. The water made me ill.
Yeah.
The flies, malaria, malaria medication rather than actual malaria. You know, the sort of the dogs on the street and stuff. And I found the whole thing like quite grueling. And they took me on a like an afternoon to go to an Indian cinema. Indian cinemas are next level, massive things, massive, huge auditoriums, millions of people in them, like massive. They're like concert venues rather than cinemas.
Yeah.
And I watched Superman 2, and just for a few hours, just felt very
You
safe.
you
Just
like back to
felt,
like
yeah,
normality and
just
felt yeah.
felt like a little bit relaxed, and the characters always had like an affection for me for just that little moment of just a bit of light relief. Little
Yeah.
light relief from it, and I vividly remember Margot Kidder and the sort of, Niagara Falls scenes and
Yeah.
the reveal and all this stuff, and just sort of always like the character. I think in real terms, and this is one of my sort of going back to some of the earlier questions about investment, I am slightly concerned that if you were to pick a golden age character that would always live on, I think Superman is quite an outdated character, and I think that
Yeah.
Batman has a way to retell that story for every generation when Superman's sort of slightly overpowered
Yeah.
nature means that it's quite hard to sort of. And there's been some great variations of the characters, brilliant stuff. I just think
It
it's
is.
hard.
I mean, he's overpowered, but he has probably one of the worst weaknesses going.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
that's obviously
which one, magic or kryptonite?
kryptonite, I would say. But
Yeah, I mean, the magic one always felt
well,
like
magic, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
it's a bit like a sort of weird cop out. Oh, he's also
Yeah.
liable for magic. I'm not sure. Just seems a
Paul
bit weird.
Daniels.
Yeah, Paul Daniels and David Copperfield, and everyone's favourite scammer. Yeah, they could all be his undoing.
Nearly spat my drink out then.
I know. I waited.
Never
I waited
uttered
for
his
seconds.
name on this channel.
I know.
Brilliant.
I did say his name. Yeah, so yeah, always had sort of warm affection for the character. I loved the John Byrne run as a kid.
yeah,
Very, very, very fond of it. And then when I came back, the covers and that sort of intrigue, and no real desire to collect that sort of 60s, 70s run. I mean, you've got the incredible Neil Adams one over your shoulder,
yeah,
which is is a thing of wonder. But I sort of always just went, right, I've got that block of them. That's fine. It's enough
yeah,
for me.
yeah. Brilliant. That's right. See, we'll check the comments. We have. So obviously, Dead Man helped you out with that
Yep.
Flash to
Yep. Well,
104.
I wasn't far off. I was
No,
worried when
you're
I said
pretty
I was
good.
miles off.
Pretty good.
And God, I should have known it 104. Because of
Ju-
course 105 is the Silver Age that continued the numbering. That was silly to
yeah.
get that wrong.
Going back to our favorite magician, I love when something happens in the community and you comment on the post, and every time the comment is literally the same. I won't say what it is, but it always tickles me. Brilliant.
So Man of Steel 1, I think, is the first variant. The Special Edition 3 is probably a reprint because although it's the same year, it's definitely a different printing. So I don't think it's a variant. It's more of a subsequent printing. But yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's an early version of that concept.
Wow. Paulie, Walt Disney Comics and Stories 17. It's not a major key or iconic cover, but as a Donald Duck fan, it's rare and unique treasure in my. So that's the 9.8.
I mean, that's
Wow.
honestly, I just think that's insane. I don't. Can you imagine that exists? It shouldn't exist.
In 1940 as well. It survived the war, pretty
Yeah.
much. You know. Wow.
Yeah, I think he said 42, right?
Was it 42 or 41?
Yeah.
Or 40?
Oh yeah, February 1942. Dell and Key Comics.
1942.
Bro,
Wow.
there's one on the census. I can't.
And
wait
that's
to tell you.
his.
Yeah,
That's his. That's
it's insane.
incredible, Paulie. Incredible.
There's 29 in total. 28 blues, 1 purple. He's got the highest graded copy.
Wow.
It's a great cover as well.
Paulie, if you're on Instagram, tag us, both of us, and we'll have a look at
I'd love
it.
to see that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's great.
Superman has always been my favourite hero. 45 years old. Childhood was Christopher Reeve, George Reeves, and Super Friends. And as an adult, I love Cavill's performance. I loved Cavill, Henry.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved him.
Yeah. Great man.
What did you make of the new James Gunn suit?
Yeah, picture's a bit weird, but
Yeah.
I have a firm line. I'll watch it. I'll watch it and make my decision.
Yeah, of course you watch it. I think I remember when they first revealed Cavill's when he was that pose, like action pose.
Yeah.
And I didn't really take to it initially, but I really liked Man of Steel. I thought it was a different.
Do you ever listen to? There's a great podcast called The Rewatchables.
No.
It's on the it's a podcast network, American podcast network that I can't think of, but it's available on Spotify. And they rewatch classic movies, and they talk about why they were great and blah blah blah. And they've got a brilliant episode on. It's called The Rewatchables, and it's got a brilliant episode on Batman. And they're talking about how the film company received something like 1,500 letters, physical letters of complaints when they cast Keaton.
Oh, of course, yeah. There was massive.
And it just makes me laugh now. You just think of it and just go, like, everyone that's complaining. And you imagine 1,500 times the ease it is to complain about everyone. I'll wait and see.
You imagine now the amount of people that tell you that Keaton's the best Batman.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for me, I have an affinity to Keaton because that was the Batman when I was a kid. But I really enjoyed Christian Bale's. That realistic as possible, realistic as it could have been. Christopher Nolan.
I always liked Keaton's. I liked Keaton's Wayne. Really unhinged.
Yeah,
really weird.
Want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. When
he's got the pen and he's signing with Vicky Vale, he doesn't know what to do with the pen, so he just puts it in a plant.
Puts it in the plant. Yeah.
It's like such a weirdo. It's in his own house. He just puts the pen in the plant pot. So weird.
You want to know a weird fact? So my daughter is she turns 9 next in a couple of weeks,
Mm.
and at Christmas, Beetlejuice was on the TV, just randomly.
Yeah.
I mean, we never watch live TV, never. Not
Mm,
it's not heard of in this household.
mm,
And I think the kids pressed the wrong button, or Maisie did, and it
yeah,
was on the TV. It was on for like a couple of minutes, and I said, "Should we watch Beetlejuice? Do you think Maisie can watch Beetlejuice?" And I,
yeah,
I remember when I was young, I watched it like, and I think it terrified me, to be honest. But like the sandworms and stuff like that. But I remember, so we put it on, and she's absolutely obsessed with Michael Keaton.
yeah.
Like, have you ever heard of like an 8-year-old being obsessed? An 8-year-old girl, like it's weird. It's weird. So I'm gonna take her to watch Beetlejuice too. Um,
Amazing, amazing. What fun. Yeah, no, I think that's yeah, I think it
she thought he was quite handsome as Bruce Wayne. To be fair, but yeah.
I'm gonna go off on a tangent, and it's the last thing you need because you're trying to have some order here. Do you follow on Instagram the man behind the red hood?
No, no.
So
Is
the
he good?
man behind the red hood is a Las Vegas comic dealer.
Hmm.
He's a guy called Rob. He's quite the character.
Okay.
Not everyone's cup of tea. I fucking love him. Like, he's just my guy. Rob's my guy. Like, he's helped me out with stuff. I've helped him out
Yeah,
with stuff. I worked at his stand at WonderCon in the US, and Rob, the name of his account, the man behind the red hood, is obviously a reference to the Joker.
yeah.
He dropped two of the most baller things I've ever seen in quick succession.
Oh, right,
Three,
okay,
in fact, three. We'll give you all three.
okay.
He did post after post. The Grail is coming. The Grail is coming. And I was like, this guy has got big books, like
Yeah.
big Kahuna books, like not small books. And I was like, here we go. And I've seen some of his collection, so I was like, what is it going to be? Do you know Detective Comics 168, which is the man behind the red hood? So it's
Yeah,
got
yeah,
the actual.
yeah.
So I saw the post, and it was that, and I was like, that's an incredibly expensive book, very hard to find in high grade.
Yeah, because
I
it's
was like,
it's practically all black, isn't it?
yeah, and I was like,
Yeah,
I was slightly deflated because I was like, "Oh, I presumed you would have it." And I was
yeah.
looking at it and I was like, "Wait, I've seen this before. You've had this for ages." Oh shit. In the background of the picture, the original art. Like,
Oh
the
my
original
gosh.
the original art for that cover. And he unveiled it at I can't remember who it was, like San Diego Comic Con or something, and it was via Metropolis Comics. And he did this big unveil where, like,
Yeah,
Vincent, who's the showman from Metropolis Comics, like pulled the thing off, and everyone cheered and blah blah blah. And Rob's uh, girlfriend was there. I think
yeah.
her name is Crystal. She runs something called Rogue Toys, like a really high end toy um, dealer. And she turns and he gets down on one knee and he proposes. And in that moment, he's got his Detective 168 original artwork. He
What a
proposes.
ball.
She says yes. It's baller. So two baller things in quick succession. Then he goes for the third, the knockout blow, which is related to your story. Rob's getting married this year in the Jack Nicholson suit from the Batman movie.
No. What, the purple suit?
He bought the purple
No.
suit.
That's
He,
incredible.
he bought the purple suit and he has lost enough weight to do it.
Oh, so that is some achievement.
He's not he's
Congratulations.
not had he's not had it amended. He's amended himself to fit the suit.
That's that is amazing.
It's absolutely incredible. He's such a character. He I'm gonna pop in the comments the link to his
Yeah,
account.
yeah. What
He
what
he
once the
he
show's ended, I'll put it in the description, the bio as well.
yeah, he posted today a picture of his CGC slabs, 800 slabs. Although it says failed to post, I'm not really sure why. We won't dwell on it.
Let's have a look. It might have come up for like review or something, maybe.
Yeah, maybe because it's an IG link.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's he posted today his latest CGC delivery. It's 800 books.
Wow.
in one go.
I'll have to check him out. I'll have to
Yeah,
definitely check him out.
spent $350,000 last year on CGC grading.
Wow.
He's big time. Right, question 2, James.
Well, technically it's question 4, but what I like to do with my guests I like to play a little bit of a game, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Yeah, good.
And it's just gonna be a little bit of a snip. The audience can join in as well, they can have a guess. But it's a snippet of a comic cover.
Okay,
And I
okay.
and that I'm just gonna show you the snippet and you just gotta guess what comic cover it's from. And they're all related to the subject that we're on about. So
Okay.
I haven't made them. If this was Jason Parker, I would make him so obscure to make him look a fool. Like,
God, I feel nervous.
even if it was like a really iconic cover, I would zoom in on like something really minute on it just to But no, I've hopefully made this quite relatable. But we'll do one every 3 questions. But
Okay.
does this ring any bells?
Yes. So that rings a bell because people get it wrong.
Oh,
That is Superman 4.
is it? Have I got it wrong?
No, maybe I've got it wrong.
I've
Oh, no,
got
you
it. Do you want me to show the full cover?
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll check. Is anyone in the
No,
comments guessed
you're right. Dead Man's got it right.
Action 1?
No, okay.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, no. So,
I
well,
think that's Superman 4.
I think you're very, very close, unless I've got the wrong.
Yeah, it's Superman
No,
4.
Superman 4. Yes, I've wrote the wrong number in the description.
Superman 4. So, Superman 4 came out, and by the way, that's a weird version because mine doesn't say Spring Edition on it.
No, no, I
Um,
think that was the best quality one that I could find without it actually
um,
being a
so
copy.
that Superman 4 is arguably the second Lex Luthor,
Okay,
and it's the first bald Luthor, but that's not him on the cover.
that's not him. This is just some guy who's just
Yeah,
had
it's
a
just some
glass of milk, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, it's just some guy. He's having a bad day. Yeah, Superman 4. God, I panicked there. I got it wrong. No, it's Superman 4.
No, no. I think I put Superman 3 as the
No, no,
as
no,
the file name of the image, but it's not. Don't
no.
just ignore me.
God, can you
What
imagine
the
if I got
brow
that wrong?
sweat, the brow sweat. Don't worry. But next question then. Let's have a look. We are. So I think you already kind of answered this, and it is: how do you typically source Golden Age comic books for your
Yeah,
collection? Do you have any
um,
favorite sellers or websites? And
yeah,
I know we've talked privately about this because I basically asked you the question. Like, there is a bit of I would say, a market in the UK for maybe a website or for
yeah,
somebody to really
yeah.
niche
So
down on that.
the best in the UK is probably Bogdan at Comic Keys.
Oh,
Uh, so Bogdan sells quite a lot on Facebook. He does a Whatnot stream now. I think, and I could be wrong on this, I think he quit his job to do it full time. Um, and he gets a lot of Golden Age stuff. I don't think he particularly loves superhero stuff. I think he's more
he's
of
quite he loves his like indie
niche.
like niche stuff, isn't it? Like,
It's proper
yeah,
niche. He's a nice guy. I like him. He's got niche stuff. But in terms of buying Golden Age in the UK, it's very hard. Silver Acre have some. I think they are very, very difficult to deal with. I broadly refuse to buy anything from them because
yeah,
they had a bunch of Superman books I didn't have, and I asked for pictures because it's just a website. It just says £2,000, no
yeah.
picture.
There's no images.
Yeah,
Is that
I
the
was like, all right,
website is from like the 90s as well?
yeah. I was like, so can you send me the pictures of these
Yeah,
5 books? And they've got unbelievable books. Can you send me the pictures of these 5 books? Send it to the main guy who's, I want to say is Dan or Daryl or something. Um, I got a response that said, yeah, I'll send them to you. No, I chased up, nothing. Chased up, nothing. The son's on Instagram, runs the Instagram account. Chased
yeah,
up with him, and he went, yeah, I'll get you the pictures, no worries. Air, chased again, air. I'm like, guys, I was looking to spend like 8 grand.
yeah. So
You
this is not
and I was
pocket
like,
change. This
and I
is
was like, and I'm not like, you can look. I'm buying the books. I'm not mugging you off. Like, I'm not. It's not for fun. And I went
Yeah.
on the website and they'd tripled the price of all the books.
Are you
I've got the screenshots.
that is what I've heard.
Yeah, they tripled the price of all the books. And the bit that pisses me off about it, James, they've got unbelievable inventory.
Of
Unbelievable
course,
inventory.
they've got a massive warehouse in
Yeah,
Chester, haven't
and if
they?
you say to me, listen, Sunil, we've gone back. We haven't updated the price on those books for ages. We've updated the prices. These are the new prices. Here's the picture of the book. Do you want to buy it for $4,000? Fine.
Yeah.
I can take it or leave it. But either you got that book out, repriced it, and then were rude enough to not even send me the photo,
Yeah.
or you didn't bother getting the book out, just up the price.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's
Either one.
even worse. Yeah.
Either one, you're a prick. Because either you couldn't be bothered to finish the sale, or you
Yeah.
couldn't be bothered to do the work. I'm
Yeah.
all right, thanks. I bought all those books. I bought all of those books. I bought 61 books. I didn't buy any of them from you.
Yeah.
Stupid. You lost the
No,
customer.
Um,
So a lot of auction houses, in order to finish the Superman run, a lot of it came from Instagram. Only 2 books came from the UK, which makes me sad. I wish it was more. Yeah, 2 books from the UK, 59 from the US, a lot from auction houses, a lot from Instagram.
So, so in terms of Instagram, then, like Elite Comics, or
Yeah, Elite Comics, and we'll talk about them again a little bit later on. Elite Comics, Golden Age Guru.
yeah,
I've mentioned Nerdy Girl, Silver Acre Comics, and then a few of them came from Facebook as well. Private dealers, Lee Polanski, Cobra Comics. Yeah, all over the place. I keep very detailed records in my CLZ app, so I can tell you where
oh
every
yes,
single book
so you've
came
got,
from. The date I bought it, the price I paid, the price I sold it for.
yeah,
I keep very, very detailed records so that when I do
that's
my
amazing.
tax return at the end of the year, I can show where everything is.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I know you've been like helping me trying to find that Golden Age book. And I think I've sent you a few books that I found on like
Yeah.
Incognito.
Yes, Incognito got a lovely setting all of a sudden.
Yeah. But I've just found it quite difficult looking for places in the UK. But
Really hard.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not that you're looking in the wrong places. There just are no places.
No, there's not. No, it is incredibly, like you said, with those flash books, you could go and get an amazing Spider-Man run,
Yeah.
get it overnight. But in terms of getting these books, they're very difficult to
Yeah.
come across.
The other one that's worth looking out, 30th Century Comics. They have a weekly mailing list. It's a very old-fashioned shop in Richmond, closed down during the pandemic. The 2 lead guys, I think, and I could be wrong on this, so forgive me if I'm wrong, I think they're both of relatively ill health, so having a physically open store doesn't work for them anymore.
No.
But they send out a mailing list every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And it has new books in stock, and I think some of them are just recycled of like ones they're trying to flog. But they have a collection in an island called Boot, Bute, and
Oh yeah.
the Boot collection pulls out like 3 or 4 books every week.
Yeah.
Um,
Is that one of the ones that I messaged? Like, they've got like a website, but it's like it's
an
just a
awful
page
website.
where they update,
Yeah.
like they put like the date, and they put we've got this, we've got this, we've got that. Yeah.
It's awful. But I have bought some gems off it. They've had a few Batmans recently.
What I will say that about is he called Bogdan? Is it? You say?
Yeah.
What I will say about him, before he's moved over to Whatnot and he sells
Yeah.
primarily on eBay. He
Yeah.
did have a really, really good website, that Comics
Really?
Keys.
Was it good?
Mate, it was basically presented. You could display it in a couple of ways, but it was like a short box, and you
Yeah.
could go through and flick through
Huh.
as if you were like the technology in that, like, you know, it was pretty cool. I've never seen that before on another comic site. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. We did an interview together, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, it was fun to do. But
yeah.
yeah, I see him on Whatnot.
Fun fact, actually.
That's
I actually bought my first book from him on Whatnot literally 2 days ago,
Yeah, he's
and it
easy.
and it wasn't Jason Parker outbid me on a Golden Age book,
Oh,
like just a
Jason.
random one. Like
Jason.
it would have been like 1954, 1953, but like it was. I'm kind of glad that Jason outbid me because I was like, I didn't really want that to be my first Golden Age book. It was just because it was such a great price. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm just looking at his website now. God, he's got some obscure books on here. Bloody
yeah,
hell.
yeah. I mean, it was yeah. I don't think he uses it that much anymore. I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's got one modern book. He used to argue Jimbo 30.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And what advice would you give someone like myself
Yeah.
who's interested
So
in starting to collect Golden Age comics?
so I think the sort of standard rules exist that you've probably used for your buying your modern books or your bronze, that condition matters.
Yeah.
Um, when you're thinking about resale, demand matters. Some of these characters, for example, Captain Marvel, the Shazam Captain Marvel, there's a gazillion books. There are a
Yeah,
gazillion titles.
you can get them really easily, and like
Really cheap.
considering the
Yeah,
age of them as well, they're all like
yeah,
in really all right
yeah.
condition in
Yeah,
comparison to
because there was a brief period of time before the lawsuit where Captain Marvel was outselling Superman. It was the number one best-selling comic in the world. So
yeah,
there are millions of copies, genuinely millions of copies of those books. So, I would say you don't need to spend the earth.
yeah,
Big books, the characters to avoid, probably in real terms, Batman, Superman, Captain America. Like, if you can avoid those, because they're really expensive,
oh, okay, yeah.
it's hard to even get
So
filler issues.
those are what I was looking at.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because they are great, but in terms of like, if you're going to make those calls, and I think if you're Batman, Superman, and my advice would be actually look at World's Finest.
Yeah,
You could probably
yeah,
pick up a really gorgeous World's Finest cover for half the price you're going to pick up a Superman or an action book from the same era.
yeah,
For Flash and Wonder Woman, Comic Cavalcade, All American Comics, you can probably pick up something cheaper.
yeah.
But also bear in mind that your page quality is significantly lower. So, dreams of white page books, very
Never gonna
unlikely.
happen. Yeah,
Cream to off-white is okay in the way that you probably wouldn't want it for your silver or your bronze.
yeah,
But the white pages are very, very rare, very rare. He says, going back to go, actually, that is a 4.5 white pager. But
woo,
it is rare.
yeah,
It's rare. Slightly brittle, probably not great. And in some cases, restored, owning it is better than not owning it. So,
well, you actually stopped me from that Brittle Pages
yeah,
Superman. Was it
yeah,
Superman
I think it
6?
was 6. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
because the reason for that is because it wasn't slightly brittle. It was the worst. It was
yeah.
brittle. So slightly brittle is bad,
So
but
we're practically talking. If I cracked that out of the slab and
yeah,
opened it, it probably just disintegrate.
yeah,
But
it's
most likely,
coming apart. It's
yeah,
coming apart on page turn. You're going to
yeah,
take chunks out of that book. So yeah, brittle. I would, and by the way, if you and I make if you're offering someone advice, you're making a few assumptions. I was taking the assumption that if someone said to me, "Brittle pages, should I buy it?" I would only say yes on the basis that I think you will probably never need to resell it.
yeah,
That you're happy with that book going to zero because they're a dog to resell.
yeah,
Once you get into slightly brittle pages, a dog to resell, and there's definitely a few collectors in the UK with big books where I've said, "Are you sure you want to buy that Silver Age book with brittle pages?"
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be hard to shift. I definitely have advised against an AF-15 and an X-Men 1, both the slightly brittle pages that people have
Oh
ignored
gosh,
me on. And I thought, I
I
don't
think
think I'm
that.
wrong.
I mean, I don't know what the those things. I mean, figuratively speaking, they won't be taken out of the slab. So, what harm will it do having brittle or slightly brittle pages? But it's you don't
Yeah,
know. I
so
mean, slabs haven't been. They've only what were slabs introduced maybe like what 18, 20 years ago maybe.
yeah, so I think
Less.
we don't know how they're gonna degrade over time or
No.
degrade over time. We don't know whether the slabs will go out of fashion and people will end up cracking them out anyway. But I
Yeah.
also think just in terms of the liquidity of a book, I would worry about it. I would
Yeah.
worry that a brittle book is harder to sell.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
a little bit
key
like
word. That is.
yeah, like it's a little bit like the uh signed books, harder to sell.
Do you? Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'm one of those people that if there's a depending on who signed it, I'm a bit of a sucker for signed books, the yellow label.
I love it.
Um,
I love, I
and to
love
be
it.
fair, CGC's announcement now with the JSA,
Yeah.
um, bit of a well, fingers crossed, but hopefully, and she has messaged me back. Brittany McManus from CGC is going to come on and talk about it. So, which
That's
I think is
cool.
pretty cool.
It
Um,
is cool. Congratulations. That's
um,
cool, my friend.
but yeah, one of those things though. I don't know what how we talked about. You said about like the editorial press or whatever and
Yeah.
whatnot. I don't know whether there's stuff that we can talk about. Like, I'm not going to ask obviously about like the CGC scam or anything like that. That's not the type of person that I am. I would
Yeah.
never, I don't I try to avoid controversy on this channel. But yeah, I prefer to talk about the the whole merger and everything that for the future going forward. Because
Mm,
I'm pretty sure the last time I heard her talk about it was the CGC were just never going to do verification.
mm.
But it's interesting to see why now they.
Well, no, but it's a corporate nuance, right, for them. They're still never doing it. They bought a
Oh no,
business
yeah,
that
technically it's JSA
yeah,
taking all the.
yeah, which
Yeah,
which I think is a smart move because they've sort of kept to their guns, right? That they bought a subsidiary business that lives
yes,
on its own, has its own. So
yeah,
really,
yeah,
they provide its infrastructure and rails more than we've changed our minds about certification.
yeah, yeah. That is a fair point. It's a
Yeah,
very very.
we do it. No, I think it's fascinating, and I think every comic book fan that lived in a pre-CGC era should number one be does this work? Should I send in my John Byrne books? Who's never going to do a
Yeah.
CGC signing? It's cool to have some of this stuff. And number two, we should all be kicking ourselves that we didn't come up with the idea of CGC.
Well, speaking of Silver Acre, didn't they have their own
Yeah,
range?
EGC.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Awful, awful. I
Nah,
bought one. I bought one of them. I had an
did you
X
crack it?
Men. Yeah, did I crack it? It fell apart my hands. Yeah, so, yeah, honestly, it fell apart my hands. I sold it on Catawiki in the end.
Oh yeah, that's the Tim's what
Yeah,
he's
the Dutch one.
you
Yeah.
know that's pretty cool.
Mm.
Um, okay, next question. Have
Trends
you
or shifts in the
noticed
market?
shifts in the market in terms of golden age over the years?
Yeah, I think that COVID time period is a mad period, right?
Yeah,
UF4s selling at 3 grand, America printing money, every book going to the moon, raffle pages doing 10 grand books in a day. Like
yeah,
it was a mad period of time. Everyone was going to be a millionaire based on their NFTs or their Edge of Spider-Verse 2s. And I think a lot of people picked up a lot of books and then thought it comes back to I think Paulie mentioned earlier, came back to what do I want to do now? Now I've
yeah,
got the Avengers in an MCU fashion. So I've got my Hawkeye, my Black Widow, and my Hulk one, maybe my Air 15. What do I want next? And I think there was just a natural progression of people who aged out of Silver Age book, even if they were relatively young. And
and,
when
you would you count yourself as that? Is that
oh
why?
no, I'm old, but no, but
No,
there's
not
definitely
old.
people.
Sorry, I wasn't. But
Yeah, yeah, no,
natural
exactly that.
progression.
There was a point in my collection where I did
Yeah,
have a Hulk one, an FF one, a Tales of Suspense 39, a Jim 83, and I had the staircase shot of
yeah,
all the Avengers that are in that first the first Avengers movie, like an Avengers 4, etc.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, and I think a lot of people started selling them out of something to do. Like, do you know what I mean? Keep your energy going, keep the interest
Yeah.
going, and use that money to buy pre-code horror books,
Yeah.
golden age books, and I definitely see it is, you know, for example, Elite Comics have more golden age sales than they did. They have more pulp for
Yeah.
sales than they did, and even the London Comic Mart had virtually no golden age books and no slabs 3 years ago. And now you go and there are golden age dealers in the room and there are
Wow.
slabs on most walls.
Yeah.
And it is a real, you know, definitely the first time we went back to a mart after 25 years of not going in 2019, I was like, there are no slabs in this room,
Yeah.
none. And now you've
Yeah.
got guys with boxes of them.
Yeah. Well, the back
So yeah,
walls, that's what,
yeah. Yeah, and
sells
so I
them.
think it's definitely changing. I think there's definitely more and more interest to pre-code horror, um, to more niche stuff, and I think the golden age, Batman, Supermans, as I mentioned, Captain America are much more resistant to a price decrease than their Silver Age counterparts.
Yeah.
So a £2,000 at the height of the boom Superman book is probably down to 1700 now. A
Yeah.
£2,000 Fantastic Four book is probably at £1,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all you got to look at Ultimate Fallout 4, haven't you? And Edge of
Yeah,
Spider-Verse 2. They were going for mega books during the pandemic,
yeah.
and now you can get a
I
9.6
yeah,
Ultimate Fallout 4 for what, like $500,
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
$600.
Well, actually, it's interesting. I was in a conversation about that this week. I saw with my own eyes a UF4 sell for 3,000 on a live sale a
Yeah.
few years back, and this week I saw a $1,099 Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8 not sell.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not even $1,000 book now because there is one I can buy. I can look at one right now for 1,099, and it hasn't sold.
Sold. Yeah.
Whereas before, at 1,500, it was going. At 1,300, going. Like they were going relatively quickly.
Yeah.
1,099 dead book. I'm holding out $400. I'll buy.
I mean, it was coined the ultimate. It was the Amazing Fantasy 15, like the modern version, wasn't it? It was.
Yeah, the difference is the 30,000 on the census.
Yeah. There's so many. Yeah. Definitely. But
Everyone's got one. By the way, there's millions out coming out of the closet.
yeah.
I've seen
I
pictures
mean,
of guys with like 50 copies, 100 copies. Like
did you not remember? Is it Matt?
Matt Huskins.
Our friend Matt Huskinson. Yeah. He is. There's that photo of him with like 100 behind him, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Um.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got. I think he's still knocking them out.
No, brilliant. Has that been 3 questions now? Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it has.
All right. I'm nervous about this. I don't want to get it wrong.
No, I don't think you're going to get it wrong. So this next one, I picked it because I thought it was a bit, because obviously I've been looking at Golden
Yeah.
Age books. For me, I'm finding it very difficult finding covers that I like.
Hmm.
I think it's very too far between in terms of like that Superman, was it 32
Yeah, I
the
do.
the
Yeah.
lightning one? That's incredible. I mean that Superman 6 as well. I really like. I really like I really like the ones with the yellow backgrounds.
Yeah, the
But
backgrounds are hard.
if it's just Superman, I'm not really keen on if there's other characters or just random
Yeah.
people in it. But they are, in terms of when you look at like Batman, they are doing, like, I think like some of the covers they're doing just like generic things like having the haircut, having a
Yeah.
shout, like
Yeah. Yeah.
but in terms of this one, I thought it was a bit strange. So is this? That's let me just get rid of the banner. But I mean, it's basically Batman and Superman on a pole.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a world's finest, I would say. But what issue number? Couldn't tell you.
No, I mean, it's a Batman book. I'll be honest. It's
Is it?
Batman. Yeah, yeah. And
No.
I'm seeing them all the time now, and I just can't get over the fact that there's
No,
Batman and Robin on a pole.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you look at those world's finest books, that is not the weirdest thing you're going to see. There's
No,
one.
no, probably not.
Have you seen the Have you seen the skinny dipping one?
No.
It's super weird. There's basically like there's like a pool of water, and there's a bunch of boys naked from the torso up, and Robin like pointing, and Batman and Superman like coming into the shot, and it's like, what's
Oh.
happening here?
I mean, there's one issue where I see that Batman's got like a Gatling gun or something.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that's
17.
just like the whole. That's just not Batman.
It's
But
got
yeah,
Gatling guns, it's nuts.
but there's no
What was
guesses
the
in the
answer?
chat. It's Batman 60.
Oh no, I never would have got that. Million years, for fuck's sake.
I mean, obviously, I've been looking at Batman books, and I just like I keep coming across this one. I'm just like Robin. I'm not really feeling it.
No, not really feeling that. I'll present to you this, which I'd love to have done as wallpaper.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yeah,
It's a world's finest 37, where they're inexplicably on each other's shoulders. Don't really know
wow.
what's happening in this book.
Still
Uh,
a cool cover.
Yeah. By the way, the world's finest. Yeah, I love this cover. The world's finest. There's nothing in the book that's remotely attached to that. They're separate stories. There's actually no Superman, Batman in those books. It's not until like issue 71 where there's combined stories.
Yeah, that's crazy. Right, okay then. So this is what everyone's come to see.
Oh, right.
This is the big.
It's the big moment.
So if you haven't been following Sunil on Instagram or Facebook or dare I say Twitter or X as it's now
Yeah,
called,
X, yeah.
have you posted it on X or?
I have posted on X.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've had any views, but I have posted it.
So the big question is, could you please share with us the story behind your most prized Golden Age comic book in your collection?
Yes, I'd love to. So, as I mentioned earlier, I ended up with Superman issues 2 to 61.
Yes.
And I convinced myself I didn't need a number one, didn't need number one. And then I made peace with the fact that I was going to get a number one. I was going to find one. And I arranged credit with Heritage Auctions.
Okay.
And I bid. The Heritage Auctions do a Golden Age sale Sunday night into Monday morning. And I bid on the auction. And I didn't sleep a wink.
I bet.
That night. I put my bid in. I went to bed. Didn't sleep a wink. Had a wretched day the next day. I didn't win it. And I realised in that moment that credit was not okay. It's not how I've been brought up. I've never had a credit card bill in my life. It was the wrong thing to do. And I sort of said, I made peace in my mind to say, I want the book. I'll find a way to get it. Last summer, I co-presented a show on YouTube called Collector Showdown with Gotham Comics. And we would get these big American, I mean, for want of a better phrase, swinging dicks who would come in and just show the most absurd books. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah. Was that one where it's up a bit like a battle?
Yep. So people would come on, they would show their books, and we would see nuts books, and you would see like AF-15s lose. It was absolutely nuts. And there was an episode where I wasn't hosting. I think I was at a wedding or something. I wasn't hosting, and I got back late night, and I joined. I was in Scotland. I got back late night, and I just joined in the chat. And Russian Max and Stray flexing head to head, and Russian Max pulled a blue label 0.5 Superman 1.
Wow.
And it's a blue label. It's 0.5. It's complete, but it's beat. It's really, really beat.
Yeah.
And Stray Flexing pulled a 4.0 restored Superman 1. So then it became this big battle of which book do you prefer, the blue label 0.5 or the purple restored. And Max was very flummoxed that people picked the restored book. He was like,
Yeah.
"You've all gone fucking mad. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's a blue label versus a purple." And in his head, there was no debate. Whereas
Yeah.
in my head, there is a debate because a 0.5 that looks dreadful and is the most expensive purchase of your life
Yeah.
seems to me counter. Because I want to look at it and I want to go, wow,
Wow.
not look at it
Yeah.
and go, it's a bit rough.
Yeah.
Right. Ooh. And I commented in the show, straight, now you've shown the book, you don't need it. Like, let me know when you
Yeah.
want to sell it. And everyone laughed in the comments and blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, I get a DM from Stray, Yaniv, saying, "Are you interested?" I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, okay. What you got for me?" And he was like, "This is the price I want. I'll send you the pictures." Sent me the pictures. I just responded straight away. "You are high. That price is ridiculous. This is the
Yeah.
price I'm at." And he went, "You're high. This is the price I'm at." And we went backwards and forwards. In the end, there were a couple of factors.
Yeah.
To do it, I needed a bit of time because I needed to
Yeah.
sell a bunch of books because I made the decision in conjunction with conversation with my wife, who is the actual she's the MD of Ilson Comics at HMRC. You can check.
Basically, you got the seal of approval.
Well, no, she runs the business.
Oh, okay.
So in theory, it's her name on the paperwork at HMRC. So it's not a
Oh,
husband-wife
right.
thing.
So, I'm sorry. I thought you were making
No,
just an offhanded
no, no, no,
joke.
no,
Like,
no.
oh, Christ.
Well, I
All right.
mean,
Okay.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. Corporate structure-wise, I was like, this is the business decision for the business is
Yeah.
that we're going to trade 12 or 15 or 500 books
Yeah.
to get this one book, and this is where it makes the case. So we had a good conversation about it, and she was like, "You want to do it. Like, you know the stuff. Like, go do it."
Yeah.
And so we struck the deal. Part of the reason I struck the deal is that my incredibly good friend Eric, Yakuza Doc, lives in Dallas, the same place that this book was. So he went
Yeah.
to look at it for me, validate it, check that it's good.
Yeah.
And the important thing is Eric, and I love him for this, agreed to carry it from the US to the UK.
Wow.
Because the insurance on that book,
Well,
the nerves of waiting for
yeah.
FedEx, all of that horror story. Eric agreed to get on a plane with it because he's over here to buy a house. So he was like, "Next time I come, I'll bring it." And he was like,
Wow.
"You might have to wait, but I'm paying for
Yeah.
the flight, so you just wait." And I was like, "I'll wait. I'm cool."
Yeah.
So I called my friend Ali at Elite Comics, and I said to him, "Here's the deal. Stray's got the book. I want it. Can you help me?" And he said, "Yep, I'm going to help in 2 ways." And I'm forever grateful for Ali. He did 2 things. One, he called Stray and he said, "If you sell this book to anyone else while Sunil's raising the money, I'll be furious. You've struck a deal.
Yeah.
So you stick
Yeah.
to your deal." And Yaniv was like, "Of course, I'll stick to my deal." But Ali just did that thing where he went out of his way to just say, "If you get this
Yeah.
wrong, you've got a problem with me as well
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Sunil." And problem with me, who cares? Problem with Elite, maybe that's a
Yeah.
problem for you. And then he said, "Right, let's do it. And let's do it in one night."
Wow.
And I was like, "Do you think we can do it?" He was like, "Yeah, we can do it." So we went live on Elite Comics 11 at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night, and we sold $60,000 worth of comics in 3
Wow.
hours.
That's incredible.
3 hours.
So that was like, what was that like? Fantastic Four, issue
Fantastic
number
Four number
1.
1 went.
Yeah.
Hulk 1 went.
Wow.
Journey to Mystery 83 went. Tales of Suspense 39 went. Big books.
Big books. Yeah.
Big ass books. An Action Comics 6. First Jimmy Olsen. Batman 17. The Hitler Hirohito cover. Big
Yeah.
books. Superman 4, which was a pain in the ass because I had to then find that
Didn't
again.
we buy it?
It broke up the run. So yeah, we sold, and most of the books went to the US. We had a few go inside the UK, but predominantly all the books went in the US. I sold a bunch of Journey into Mystery and Fantastic Four Raws via Facebook, but we got all the money in one night.
Wow.
And it was absolutely thanks to Elite Comics 11. They did a phenomenal job of just being very supportive, making sure
Yeah.
that people paid up, tracking for the benefit of their buyers as well as me as a seller. They take their commission, but all the fees are friends and family
Yeah.
with the Elite backing. So what I was losing in commission to Elite was basically nothing more than I would have lost if I'd done it at goods and services.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it was pretty close, a
Yeah.
little bit worse, but for the amount of effort that Ali and the team put in,
So
unbelievable.
did 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 Elite hold all that money and then send it to the
No,
seller, or did they send it to
yeah,
you?
so all the way they work, they're a commission business, so everyone pays you and you pay them the commission.
Yeah.
Because of the intricacies of the way that foreign exchange works and the nightmarishness of that, a few of the buyers, so for example, Eric in Mile High just went direct. So when he went to pick up the book from Yaniv, he gave the 10 grand for his Hulk one directly to
Yeah.
him. So there was a bunch of stuff that just never even hit my sort of account. It just went straight to Yaniv, and he got a great price.
Yeah.
He got a big book sold, no commission, no fees. So
Crazy.
he was delighted, right?
Yeah.
Delighted. Did I overpay for the book? Yes, a little bit. I overpaid a little bit, but I tell you this, for the circumstance of never ever being in debt,
Yeah,
credit,
yeah.
any of that, having someone walk the book to my front door, buying it from someone I trusted, having that incredible experience with Elite. And I talked with Ali beforehand, and I said, I've got this notion of just putting up like 10 really shit books, like
Yeah.
really shit, like $1 books on the bottom row, and just saying, if you don't like any of the books here, but you want to support the journey to helping me get my
Yeah.
grail, like, you can buy these books for like $50. And Ali, who knows the community very well, said, absolutely not.
Oh,
He
well.
said, no, that's not fair. It's not fair to ask people to chip in for your grail.
Just
And I was like,
donate.
I think people get into it. And he was like, not on my watch. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, it's an idea. Like we
Yeah,
knock
yeah.
about ideas, try to make stuff happen. So I'm like, I'm not wedded to it. And he said, you'll see your measure in the community by how people respond. If you get on and you put a Hulk one up and the first offer is 5 grand,
Yeah.
know this, people think you're a prick. And I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh God. And he's like, because we'll know. If
Yeah.
people lowball you because they think you're desperate and because they think they can mug you off, you'll know tonight if these people think you're a prick. I was like,
Wow.
okay. And I got lowballed on some stuff,
Yeah.
but that's okay. Like, it's completely fine. The thing I got, James, that I will take to my grave. There were 12 people who put money in to help other people buy books.
Wow.
One of the people put in $250 to close the gap between the offer that someone made and the book I was trying to sell.
Wow.
They were like, I want you to get your Superman 1, and I want this person to get their
This
book.
person to have that
Oh,
book.
I'll cover the 250 in the middle.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
That is the generosity is unreal. That is
12 people, and on my Instagram, I name all the 12 people who chucked in. Ed Pink, Ken Cataldi, like there was a whole bunch of people. Geordie from Marvel DC Comics, a
yeah.
whole bunch of people just chipped in. And honestly, I would take it to my grave that there were people that were like, "I want you to win," and I got loads of DMs after the show being like, "I'm so pleased for you. It's so exciting." I
Yeah,
was like, "Everyone calm until the book arrives. Until the book arrives." Like
yeah.
everyone chill. So, um, yeah, December last year, I went to I had a crazy day. I went to the McLaren garage in the morning with
Okay.
work. I got a tour of the McLaren garage, and then I went to West London. I walked down Oxford Street at Christmas time,
Yeah.
and I picked up from Eric Yakuza Doc my copy of Superman #1.
And there it is, the money shot. The money shot. I will never get sick of seeing that book. Never.
I mean, actually, you know, he's a sort of fairly prominent member, or was a fairly prominent member, not really anymore, of the comic community in the UK. Andrew Slater. I posted it on Facebook about 20 times in 2 days, and he commented, "I'm so sick of seeing that photo. I see that photo more than I see my kids."
Oh
Um,
gosh.
and it was like, I think he was joking, but someone just responded pretty quickly. Maybe you should spend more time at home. And he didn't like it. He sort of doubled down with like, "Oh, actually, I work away from home a lot, and I do this and I do that." He's
Oh,
like, "Yeah." And
okay.
then the American guy who didn't know him was like, you know, "Well, I don't know. You seem to be spending a lot of time on Facebook."
No,
But
I had to have it for the fun now because I just thought it's just an
yeah,
thing. It's
yeah,
an amazing photo.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely been yeah, like
It's been a journey, to
it
be
has.
fair.
It's been putting a whole bunch of work together. I'd never seen a copy in the UK. I saw a couple of copies at WonderCon when I was there, and in the US. I've never held a copy before,
Yeah,
and honestly, it was thrilled. It's a 4.0. It's restored, cream to off-white pages. The restoration on this book is color touch, pieces added, tear seals, cover
yeah.
cleaned and reinforced.
But I mean,
Um,
it looks great.
and that's the thing. So the other thing with this book, and this was one of the things that's a, like technical nuance here. It's a 4.0. There have
Yeah.
been 5.0s on Heritage that have sold for less than I paid for this. But
Okay.
all of those 5.0s, the back cover, if you've never seen the back cover is remarkable.
It's just stunning.
The restoration on the back cover, because all the back covers, that's where the color touch is, because this red
Yeah.
gets marked and
Yeah.
people cover
Fill
the
it in.
red. And
Yeah.
on all those 5.0s, you can go to Heritage, you can see exactly what I mean. You can see the brushstrokes.
Oh,
You can absolutely see the color touch. And when you get your Fantastic 452 and you're trying to work out where the black is on the
well,
Black
you
Panther
can't see
in,
where
and you need the light, you don't need a light. The scan
yeah,
on Heritage shows you exactly
exactly where it
someone has
is.
taken a red pen and they've gone like that with a Sharpie. And this red is just clean all the way
Wow.
along. You cannot see, the naked eye cannot see where everything is. By the way, the other thing which is the same for Batman 1, you can't really see it. I don't know whether you can now. The light's not quite right to see it. Down this edge here,
Yeah.
there's a dotted line that
Okay.
shows you where to cut the back cover off to pin it up on your wall.
Oh, disgusting. Disgusting.
So there's loads of these that are
Without back
purple
covers.
or 0.5s that don't have back covers. And I
Ah,
always said to myself, I want one with a back cover because that's a
yeah, of
cool back
course, yeah.
cover.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Between the yellows and the reds. And I maintain it's a better cover than Superman 1. And although
Yeah.
Action 1,
Action Comics one.
and although it's reprint issues inside, that to me is that is the grail for me.
Yeah. It is, mate, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I remember commenting on your post. I think you might have uploaded like a video or something.
Yeah, me opening it.
Have you opened it? Yeah. And I said, it's not the I just put a comment in saying I don't think it's not normally the video of two guys in a hotel room you normally tend to see.
And it's
But
really funny because Eric filmed that video. I
without
don't
you
think
knowing.
I don't think I'd watched it until
Oh wow.
until the day I posted it. I'd sort of forgotten that the video happened because he took the photo of me holding it, the sort of the one that you used in the thumbnail that I've posted a
Yeah.
million times since.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest, I'm going to keep posting it. Um,
Yeah.
I did a consignment sale recently for a wonderful guy called Billy Waters, who is a top level photographer. Like he does campaigns for like Starbucks and Apple and places like that. And I
Yeah.
jokingly said to him, like, next time you come, bring your camera. We're gonna do a photo shoot with the book.
Yeah.
And he's texted me 3 times since, being like, "Are we gonna book in a date?" He's like, "I'm deadly serious," because he's a comic fan himself. He's like, "I'm deadly serious. We should do it." He's like, "You own a Superman 1. Fuck it." let's just do the photo shoot, like full Olan Mills. Like we're gonna take it to
Yeah,
the park, and you can push it on a swing, and like just take these mad photos. And anytime anyone
yeah.
says any shit about like, what's your favorite book in your collection, be like,
Well, yeah. I mean, when I've been telling people about I'm doing this interview tonight and or this Friday,
yeah,
I'm like, I mean, he's got a Superman one, and like, what? So I'm like, it's like a $60,000 book. It's like like I don't know anybody like you know it like in our circles
yeah.
that like I know that has got a book like that. That is the most impressive book I think I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of there's a little
But
way here.
when I say our circles, I mean primarily like the UK, like,
Yeah, yeah. So I do think there are a few people I know that move quietly. Um,
okay,
Antonia Hayward, who pops up every now and then on Facebook. I know her and her husband have got a Batman one and multiple AF-15s. Their Batman one is gorgeous.
yeah,
It's really nice. I don't. I I don't. She's posted a few times different bits that they've got. I would love to see what's in their collection.
yeah,
That is a UK collection, and there is a Superman 1 7.0 with World of Superheroes in Sheffield that we tried to do a deal on, but they were too vague, and I just
too
wanted a
vague.
pure. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, we'd be interested in a trade," and I was like, "Well, give me a number, we can work towards it." They were like, "No, show us what you got, and we can blah blah blah." And I
Yeah,
was like,
they wanted what was good for them. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, which is fine. Like, I get that they want to be up on it, and there is an
yeah,
advantage to trading books. But I was like, just give me a number. We want $80,000 worth of value. Can you hit
yeah,
it? Like, show us what you got. Like, how long for? Like, I just keep showing books, and eventually you say
yeah,
yes.
exactly. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
too vague for me. Other people might have been like, no, you know what? Let me drive my whole collection up, and I'll keep putting books on the table until finally someone says yes, and that'd be fun.
yeah,
But for me, the pureness of the experience with Yaniv to say, this is what I want, me to say, "No, I'll pay you less," him to agree, Elite to say, "We're gonna back you. We're gonna come through and we're gonna do the sale. We're gonna give it the promo it deserves. We're gonna
yeah,
give it the big story." VFN Comics holding the camera, making everything work, me posting those boxes out and praying
yeah.
to God that they all cleared.
Are you holding? I've just noticed. Are you holding a pipe?
Yeah, yeah, it's actually a gimmick. It's actually a gimmick.
It's a gimmick.
Yeah, I just every so often I just pick it. It doesn't even work. But
As
I just pick
well.
it up. It's just it was just next to me, so yeah, I'm holding a pipe. It's good for gesticulating. If I ever need to make a point with you, young man,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just point. Yeah.
I just point
Well,
the pipe.
to be fair, buddy, Dead Man has got it banged to rights. That is a super story. Yeah.
No, listen, I'm always happy to tell it, and I'm grateful to get invited on to yeah, to share it. It's a wonderful thing. My plan, it actually lives. There's a Metro Bank not far from the house on the high street. It lives in a bank vault
Oh wow.
for insurance purposes. So I had
Yeah.
to go to the bank to get it out today. I'll take it back tomorrow morning.
Ah,
Anyway,
mate, that is
that's all right. No, I don't. Listen, it's just a joy to look at. But yeah, it
that's
goes backwards and
incredible.
forwards to the bank. Um, and yeah, the plan is, it's 2024. We're 14 years away from the 100-year anniversary. At the 100
Yep.
year point, Superman becomes a public domain character, and anyone can look to reinvent the stories outside of Warner Brothers' control. Um, and it'll be interesting. At that point, it might come a time in 14 years. Uh, my oldest will be 25. She'll be making her way in the world, and that
Oh yeah.
book might be on the block to help her get to her next phase of her life.
Well,
So I'm the
that kind of
custodian.
that brings me into the next question.
um,
And if you're anything
I
like me, it's a bit of both.
Yeah, it has to be a bit of both. Otherwise, I think
Yeah.
it's quite soulless. If it was
Yeah.
just the latter investment opportunity, I would invest in other things.
Yeah.
I don't think that comics are the be all and end all in terms of an investment opportunity. I think it brings
Yeah.
me huge joy. I love the community. I love chatting to
Yeah.
people that are passionate about things. I am not an expert. Well, no, actually, I'm going to I'll back myself a little bit. I am an expert to a certain extent. I'm not the most knowledgeable. I cannot tell you what the third cameo of Enchantress was. I
No.
cannot tell you what page, is the first Spider-Punk, but I know enough to go through. Uh,
Collections.
yeah,
Pick out.
X-Men 96 to 250 came through today, and I could eyeball that box and go, that one's important. That one's important. That one's important. That is a shitty cover.
Yeah.
That is not important. So I know a lot about it, and that brings me joy. Um, I think I I think my collection has appreciated in value even through the decline. And my
Yeah.
collection is worth more because I've made the right tactical moves. And it was a question that came up earlier from Deadman. Are you still improving the grades on the Superman collection, or have you reached they're all okay now? My target grade
Yeah.
is 4. I've got 3 or 4 left to upgrade that are around about the 3 or 3.5 range that I want to bump to a 4 to match the restored 4. So they're 4 and
Yeah.
above. I'm not going to chase. I've got 1.8. I've got an 8.0 Superman 9, Superman 11.
Okay.
And that's I'm cool. I'm cool not to keep pushing them up. Because I think we'll end up. But what I am doing for my Silver Age books is I am selling my Silver Age books and putting a bit more extra into the pot to get higher grades.
Okay.
So
So it's
across the board, my silvers are going out of the door. So my Avengers 1 3.0 sold, and the 3.5 came in. The
yeah.
3.5 sold. A Raw 4.0 came in. That sold instantly. A CGC 4.0 has arrived.
Yeah.
And I have been sort of, selling them. And Brave and the Bold 28 4 sold, been replaced by
Wow.
6.0 signed. That one is a fucking beauty.
I think I might have that. No,
Uh,
it's not. It's further down on your profile.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
further down. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's that. There is an investment part to what's going on.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Right, so we've got 3 questions left. We're 2-hour mark. I'm so sorry about this. So
That's
sorry.
okay. It's fine. No. I've loved it. God, and it's
Um,
definitely my fault.
this last guess the comic is it should be the easiest. It should be the easiest. Can't. But it probably doesn't look it from this image, actually.
Right.
You're probably thinking, what has James done to me? He's literally bought the most hardest.
Yeah. So I mean, my sort of fudge here is it a Superman book?
No,
Then I think it's Detective 27.
my man.
So what threw me off, because it's got that little glimpse of red, and I was like, shit, has that not
Yeah,
got Superman's
that was.
cape?
I was worried about that. I was definitely worried about that. No, brilliant.
God.
Congratulations.
2 out of 3. Whew.
Brilliant. So, next question is: you sell on the streaming application Whatnot. How do you compare that to selling at events like I know you sell at the London Comic Mart. What is your
Yeah.
take?
So the London Comic Mart for me, I've done it twice.
Yeah.
It is so expensive and so time consuming that it is not worthwhile on a sheer
Oh wow.
revenue basis.
Okay.
Because and there's ways to be more economical than me. I'm not saying I do it in the right way. I think I do it in the wrong way. But for me, it's 75 quid a table. I book 2 tables because I don't want to be boxed in.
Yeah.
So I'm 150 quid down
Oh, okay.
before we
Wow.
start.
Yep.
You've got to drive into London. It's 20 quid on the ULEZ charge to drive into London. So we're 170.
Yeah.
You've got to bag and board all those books.
Yeah.
You're down hours and hours of time bagging and
Yeah.
boarding all those books, getting them in order, lugging them into the car, lugging them out the other end. You're setting up at 8 a.m. You sell to a bunch of dealers between 10 and 11.
Yeah.
11 o'clock till 12, you've got the early traders, 12 till 1, and by 1:30, 2 o'clock the last mark, dead.
Yeah.
And I think it's different because I'm not a regular, I end up in the back room. If you're in the main room, it's maybe a bit different energy.
Yeah.
So the last mark we did, I think £1,600, £1,700
Oh,
in
okay.
sales. I did £600 in 90 minutes on Whatnot that night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you, yeah, I get you.
So in terms of cost per hour, the mark is bad business.
Yeah.
For me. And maybe that's different for other people, but for me, the mark is bad business. I will continue to do it once or twice every year because it's good for reputation. It's good
Yeah.
for eyeballs. It's good for people to see you. It's good to meet people. Like, I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
But financially, for me, Facebook is my number one by a long shot. Facebook's number one.
Forgot about the parking.
Oh well, parking. You can park on the streets in London for free on a Sunday.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
So for me, and actually, I meant to do an infographic for my Instagram at some point, but I never got around to it. Facebook was number one by a landslide.
Yeah.
Instagram was number two last year because of the Elite sale. And then eBay for me and Whatnot, because I came to Whatnot only in September.
Yeah.
So Whatnot beat out eBay last year. So eBay beat out Whatnot last year. This year, I think it will be tighter.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think I sold an ASM1 on eBay last year, which inflated the numbers.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I do roughly 10,000, roughly £10,000 every month in comic sales,
Wow.
and it averages over the year. Actually,
Yeah.
in fact, last year was 250k in sales, not profit.
No, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not profit. I can tell you that.
But there will have been some decent profit in that, I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
there was some profit. I mean, most of it got reinvested back into books, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like this, we're May 10th, and I think we've done probably about 4.5 grand in the first 10
Wow.
days of May.
That's
The
brilliant.
Journey into Mystery 83 went, and there's a Fantastic Four number one that I think goes before the end of the month.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for me, I think Whatnot's interesting. I think it's fun. My stuff tends to sell really fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Really cheap.
Do
Like
do you
it's
want
almost
my
like a joke.
do you want my, opinion?
Yeah, go.
Assessment? So, I your lie, I think I said this on, like, my last video. I mentioned that I was doing an interview with you, but I think you go on sporadically, so there's no it just
So
literally I'm not joking, I'll get excited. It'll just pop up to say that Ilson Comics is live. I'm like, "Shit, I didn't even know he was." So then I jump on, I'm like, "I wonder what I missed." Do you know what I mean? But you do it I don't know if it's to your detriment or not, whether or not
Oh, it's
you don't
it's
announce it.
100%. It's
It
100% my
is.
guesstimate. So Jahan, who was in the comments earlier, planned his, advertised it for 3 or 4 days, built up an audience, got 1,000 views. Most of my shows have got like 200 views because I
Yeah,
decide 5 minutes. But if you schedule in the app, it gives you like, if you just say start a show, it gives you 5-minute warning. That's what I do. 5-minute warning. I load up as many books as I can in 5 minutes and go live. That is exactly the opposite of what Amelia and the person that replaced Amelia said to me. They were like, do not do it. Do not
yeah,
just turn up randomly on a Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock and try and sell
yeah,
shit because it won't work. Plan it, get people to bookmark it, advertise it, blah blah blah. But the thing you described is kind of what I want. So the books that I sell on there, I'm okay selling at a
yeah.
loss.
They're not the I mean, to be honest, the books that I've bought,
Yeah,
they're just the cheap and cheerful.
yeah, and that's the bit. And I kind of want people to go, it's fucking mad in here. This lad's just gonna just turn up last minute. He's gonna put up a Silver Age Journey into Mystery, and I'm gonna win it for a fiver, and the cheapest
Yeah,
copy
yeah,
on eBay is 50 quid. and then he's going to show a Tomb of Dracula 10 and try and charge 1,500 quid for it. I just want that element of absolute chaos. The thing you described is to my detriment sales wise, but I want it, which is people go, bloody hell, I wonder what this crazy bastard's doing now. So, for what not? Because on eBay it's very structured. If you go to my eBay store, it's always very expensive. People get really angry about how expensive it is.
But I was going to say what I have noticed about Whatnot is I will admit I was contacted, I think, by Amelia.
Yeah.
She messaged me on Instagram asking me if I wanted to sell an account, and I was honest with her. I just said I don't sell comics. I just literally buy them. So I'm be interested to set up an account and have a look to see what it's about. And I think this was right in the beginning. So, and then when I went on it, it kind of seemed like it was a bunch of cowboys. The prices were phenomenally high, and they got people bidding like FOMO. They're going to miss out on these books. And I mean, what's good about the app is for me is you can, especially on my iPhone, I can just like flick it up and I can go and look at eBay to kind of see what these books are going for. And I was seeing people pay extortionate prices on books where if they just went on eBay and looked, you get it for at least 40% cheaper. I'm thinking, what are you guys doing? But then, in truthful honesty, then I come across yours, and I'm picking up books for like really, really cheap. I'll be honest, really cheap.
Really
like
cheap.
a lot cheaper than I would find elsewhere. And like, I bought a stack of what was it? Marvel Comics Present. I don't even need them.
They're good
I
covers,
bought them.
They're
brilliant Sam Keith Wolverine covers, but I didn't even need, and I only bid on them because I thought it's £15. Like it's nothing, and I outbid somebody who really actually I felt terrible. I actually felt terrible.
That guy had time waster vibes. Don't feel terrible.
But I'll flick through them, I'll read them, and have a look at them, see what they got, and then I don't know what I'll do with them in the future. But it's just I find your live like refreshing, and you will find something interesting in it. But I'll be honest with you, there's some of the other sellers, and I'm not going to bash people's names.
Yeah.
They are very much for me cowboys, and
it's a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag, but it's definitely improved since I first went on when it first came out. Again, I purchased my first books from Comics Keys Bogdan. And again, he was very much
my charger while you're talking.
No worries, buddy. No worries. So we'll say hello to some people in the chat. We've got the OG original gangster Pete from Triple G Comics. Pete, thank you for joining us, Pete. I want you on here soon as well. I'm enjoying doing these interviews. It's a great shot of Sunil's ass right there.
That's what you want.
That's what we want. That, forget about the Superman one, mate. That is the money shot right there.
Money shot. Hopefully someone took a little screenshot of that. And I asked for you. I just realised that I was about to run out of battery, which is probably not the way we should end the show.
It's okay. But yeah, so Whatnot then, it's I was going to say Bogdan is pretty much very similar to yourself. The books go for really, I would say, below market price.
Yeah. And listen, I think I've got the new collection that came in today. There's a whole bunch of good books in there, X-Men books. So I might give it I might abide by the rules and give it some proper advertising and give it the full drill, because there's an X-Men 101 in there that's gorgeous, really gorgeous, and it probably deserves.
I don't know if you saw. I kind of went and like appraised an inherited comic book collection. I think I might have showed you some screenshots, or there was an X-Men 101 in there, and there's the videos on YouTube. I'll send it to you. I literally shrieked because I'd been going through these boxes for hours, and they were all like Beanos and Spider-Man Weekly,
Mm.
and then I came look at that. Literally, one of the last boxes was literally like normal comics. Okay, there were like pence variants or
Yeah,
whatnot, but like when I came across that cover, I shrieked because I thought that, well, this is the best book I've seen in there.
yeah.
You know, and the video, you go, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
The funny thing, oh no, I'm going to do a little bit of a plug here for me. Um,
Go on.
the This came out of a notion I had a little while ago, and I get that I'm undercutting the dealers, but if you want to sell your comic collection, most dealers, if you walk into a comic shop, will offer you 30p to 40p per
Yeah,
book, on the basis that some of those books are going to be trash and unsellable, and some of them will be good. And if you've got big keys in there, you can probably negotiate a bit better.
yeah,
But they've also got to spot the keys, and you've got to find them, and like that negotiation's hard. So there was a random guy on Facebook who was actually quite local to me, and he had 600 books from his brother who'd passed away, and he was like, "Oh, I want 500 quid." I was like, "There's no way there's 500 quid's worth here.
yeah.
It's not. It's
But the
just not worth
was
500 quid." I said, "I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give you like full Michael Corleone. My offer is nothing." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "No, I'm going to give you nothing. I'll take the books today. I'll sell them all. I'll put a Google sheet together. I'll tell you what every single book paid went for. I'll tell you every single bit of postage, every single mailer. I'll tell you the price of the receipt, sellotape, the bags, the boards,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'll take 30%." And
Wow.
he was like, "No, absolutely not."
No.
He was like, "No, no, no." He said, "That's mad. I'm going to give all these comics to someone I've never met before." And I was like, "No, you know what? You're not." I said, "Worse, you're gonna drop them off to me." And he was like, "Absolutely not." And I was like, "Cool, no worries." 2 weeks later, he called me and he said, "My wife wants them out of the front room and no one's giving me 500 quid." And I was like, "All
Yeah.
right, cool." Uh, 1 week later, 1 week, I wrote him a check for £1,000
There you go.
after my cut.
Outstanding.
So a while back, there was a lad from Bristol put up a whole bunch of comics, ASMs. Everyone, PM, 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 PM.
Yeah, yeah. Is this on
And
Facebook? Yeah.
I dropped him a note and just said, "You're gonna get absolutely fleeced. I'll give you my offer. Here it is." And he's like, "Best offer I've got is 1,000,000." And I was like, "You are getting mugged."
Oh,
And he was like, "No, no, it's like 1,000,000. Like, that's what I want." I was like, "I promise you, my friend, you are getting mugged. I will get absolutely beat that after my 30% cut." And he was
wow.
like, "Okay." He drove up from Bristol, ASM 5, 9,
Yeah.
whole bunch, whole bunch.
You
Missing a lot of keys, 122, 101, 129, all
yeah.
missing, but 300 in there, 301, 315, 361, like a whole bunch of them. 238,
Yeah.
194, like, God, I sound like some sort of Rain Man here. Like all the numbers in there. And he came up today. He's the guy that dropped off the X-Men to me today. Since we did the first collection in November, we've done multiple drop-offs. He comes up, brings a whole bunch of books. That's a lot of those whatnot books come from him and his collection with the price stickers on them. Today, I sent him more money today. He has now had £12,000.
Wow. That's his from your 30%.
He's
That
had
is,
12 grand.
yeah. I bet he's absolutely loving it.
He's absolutely delighted. He's like, "This stuff has been in his attic for years. I will.
Yeah.
I won't share it in this video because it won't help my sales. But James, I'm going to DM you the video of how those books turned up today."
Oh wow.
It's
I can't
heartbreaking.
wait.
How those books turn up is just heartbreaking.
How they survived the journey, let alone
How
the last
honestly,
30 years, probably.
it's horrible. I keep giving him comic
Oh,
boxes and he never takes them. Um, But yeah, so if anyone watching, if anyone sees this video and you've got a collection where you think to yourself, I just can't bear it. And actually, I did a collection for Peter Rodway, his X-Men set, where his whole thing was just emotion. He was like, I love these books, but I can't take them for the next part of my journey because he's moving abroad. He was like, I just want someone else to do it for me. And
Oh,
he's like, I'm not interested in selling. I'm not interested in having an eBay store or all this bollocks. I'm not interested in walking to the post office. So yeah, I'll pay my 30%. Do the best you can. Gave me a target. Smashed his target. Smashed his target. We did Sean McNally's entire collection. He needed his top room back for his kids. Smashed his total. We were at
wow.
300% of his total. We were at 103% of his wife's total. But we were at 300% of Sean's total. What
That's
she thought they
amazing.
were worth. So that service is there. If there ever comes a point where you think to yourself, just don't want these books,
Yeah.
the offer's there. I will happily take people's books, sell them on your behalf. Very transparent. Keep everyone in the loop. It's there.
Top guy. Top guy. So moves us on to our next question. We're literally down to the last two, buddy. So don't.
Amazing.
So you've got your Superman issue number 1. What is next for you?
What's next? So I want to refill some of the holes that I punched to get it.
Yeah.
So I currently don't have a Gym 83. I posted one out, or I'm posting one out tomorrow morning. My FF1 is lower grade than I would like.
Yeah.
I don't have a Tales of Suspense 39. I don't currently have an X-Men 1 or a Daredevil 1. So I think it's probably, while the market is really down, is picking those up in higher grade than I would have done a year or two ago.
Yeah.
X-Men 1 is a perfect example. The 3.0s was selling for near 15k. Now they're selling for 8.
Wow. Yes. It's
And
half the price.
I think there's still a drop to come. So I would like to pick up the FF1 and the Hulk one have not dropped very much. A little bit, but not very much.
Yeah.
But the X-Men one has absolutely dropped. The Daredevil one is massively down compared to where it was.
Yeah.
So I think picking up a few of those. In terms of Golden Age books, I'll take a little bit of a risk here and hope no one fucks me on this. There is a Action Comics 23 on Heritage this week that I'm going to take a big swing at. Action 23 is the first Lex Luthor, which is an iconic book. Like that is it's a great cover, but the first Lex is a big book. There's a 2.5, which is the grade I want, because anything more than that is just painfully expensive. But it's a rare book. So I'm going to take a swing at that. Then the last 3 or 4 upgrades for the Superman books. Since the Superman 1, I have picked up some of the others that I wanted, including a Showcase 22, which I've never had. So I'm really pleased to have that. And I've definitely picked up some signature series stuff. So I mentioned the Brave and the Bold 28, signed by Murphy Anderson. 6.0, which is very cool. I got a Marvel Spotlight 5, signed by Roy Thomas. And this week I picked up a New Teen Titans number 1, 9.8, newsstand, although there are more newsstand than direct in that era, but it's a 9.8 newsstand, triple signed, Marv Wolfman, George Perez, which I've seen.
Is that early 1980s? Is it that one?
Yeah, 1980.
Yeah.
And also signed by the Inca Romeo Tengal, which I've never seen. So a triple signed 9.8 newsstand white pager. I picked that up this week. So yeah, there's definitely been a little bit of a flurry of signature series books, including this one, which is a Bone 2, 9.6. Although this one frustrates me because I saw it as a 9.6 signed. But the label note says, sorry, let me show you that again. Right angle.
Yep.
The label note says, verified signature Jeff Smith on front and interior cover, sketch on interior front cover. I can't see it, can I?
No.
So there's a little part of me, and this is, by the way, this is where I hope CGC and JSA do the business here. The thing that I want more than anything.
A photo of the inside.
Yeah. So my Jack Kirby Avengers 8. There's no way I'm slabbing it because I'll never see the signature again.
Yeah.
So, but if they were to image it and it sits on the census, here's your front cover, here's your back cover, which by the way, I love that they do that now.
Yeah.
And then they add that here is the inside. Because I bought via Heritage a Superman 40 signed by Joe Shuster. To the
Wow.
CBCS case, there are no yellow labels on the CGC census
Yeah.
for that book, not a single one. But the site is signed inside, so I'm going to crack it because I want to see it.
Yeah.
But the question is, after I've cracked it, do I re-slab it? Don't know. And I spoke to CBCS and they were like, we probably could take a photo. Because I was trying to see if I could do it without
Yeah.
without incurring the regrading fee. But maybe that is one I sent to JSA.
Yeah.
Try it
Might
out.
be a shout. Yeah.
Yeah.
On the subject of Teen Titans, I'm guessing Pete's still in the chat and still watching, but do you know what the prize was in that Christmas quiz that Pete sent
What
me?
was it?
It was a DC Presents issue number 26.
Was it?
Yeah.
It's a big
Like
prize.
the generosity of Pete, like I couldn't believe it.
It's a great book. I love that book.
Honestly,
Love.
yeah. I mean, the covers, like in terms of for the first appearance of the Teen Titans, it's not.
Well, because it's just that little box in the corner, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like
Well, actually,
Superman and Green Lantern on the front, isn't it?
yeah.
It's just nothing to do with them, but yeah.
Yeah, Triple G, I've got the same issue with the Jack signature. I want it verified, but don't want it slabbed. So I want to be able to. Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah. Well, I've got Jack Kirby signed Avengers 8.
So that's what it. So like on the high res scans of on CGC's website, what would be amazing is just that additional image of the inside on that. That would
be
that
so baller.
in fact, when I speak to Brittany, that might be a suggestion.
Yeah, but I put the question in. I would love it, honestly. If they, by the way, you can tell her from. I'm speaking on behalf of Triple G here, but you can say on behalf of Peter and I, she sold 2 more verifications. If she can give us that right now,
of course, yeah.
sold
No,
2 more
that is
verifications.
literally what I will.
In fact, you can go one step further. You can say 3 because I'll get the Bone 2 redone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
100%. Pete forgot that he sent me that DC Presents 26. But yeah, I'll never forget that, Pete. Still in the collection. Pete, again, like I wanted to always bring yourself on, Sunil, but Pete has also tried to get me to do like this style on his channel, and it's always like, oh yeah, I'll see if I can do next week, and that was going to be one of the comics that I brought out to show to say like, Pete, do you remember you gave me this? But yeah,
that's cool. It's a
it is
great
pretty cool.
I think we're at the last question.
We're at the very last question, and it is: can you tell us an interesting fact about yourself, and not to talk about, not for an hour and 20 minutes, if you can, like you did at the California.
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I did an hour and 20 now? I'm plugged in. I can go now.
You're wired, mate. You're literally wired into it.
I've got battery. Interesting fact. So I told this. I'll tell the story quickly. I told this story recently, and people were like, "This story doesn't make any sense." In 2004, I was an exec producer on a kids' TV show called Mighty Truck of Stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Do you know the show? Ran for a couple of seasons. Reggie Yates hosted the first couple of seasons, and then Danny Harmon.
Reggie Yates,
yeah, Danny Harmon from Tracy Beaker took over. Saturday morning kids' TV show.
What's it called? Mighty
Truck of Stuff, and we basically gave away a truckload of toys every single week.
Oh yeah.
It was a great show. Didn't make sense on a lot of levels, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And we were doing the pilot episode, and the guest on the first episode was Amir Khan.
Oh wow.
And of course, Amir Khan doesn't come for the pilot episode; he comes for the main episode. So for the pilot episode, there was a point where they were like, "Well, Amar's going to be in the shot. Yeah, John, the green truck. Amar's going to be in the shot, so we need the cameras to work out where he's going to be so we can do it. So I sat in the mighty truck of stuff, and Reg says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Amir Khan," and then the cameras turn, and the rig's there, and everyone
No.
knows where they're looking.
Yeah.
And I gave it the little wave, and I remember Juliet Dennison, who was the producer on the show, really laughing. And a cameraman came over, and he went,
He-
"Oh, it's cool. It's cool to meet you." And I was like,
What?
"Okay." And he's
Okay.
like, "My family and I stayed up to watch you in the Olympics." And I was like,
Oh no.
"Cool, cool. Thanks for your support." Because I'm sat in the truck and we're at eye level. So I was
Yeah.
like, thanks for the support. Like, it's cool to meet you. Good luck with the show." And he was like, "Yeah, yeah." And afterwards, I mentioned the story to Reg and a few other people, and they were like, "I think he was just playing along, mate. I think it was just he knew the gag. You didn't get that he was taking the piss." And I was like, "I don't know. To this day, I don't know
Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
mistaken for Amir Khan or not. Except I do know
Oh, go on.
because later that year, I attended the filming of a Coldplay Christmas special at Maida Vale Studios.
And he was the cameraman.
He was the cameraman, and he kept zooming in on me in the crowd
The audience.
because he
No.
thought I was Amir Khan. So when it was televised on Christmas Day, my phone went ballistic.
Mad.
Absolutely mad. And there was just text after text with people saying, "Why the fuck do they keep zooming in on you?"
What? Oh my god. Oh my. Is that anywhere on
I
YouTube?
don't know.
Or
And amazingly, I've got a cap on in that video, and there were 3 things being filmed that day. So there was that, which was for Radio 1, for their Christmas special.
Yep.
And then the Top of the Pops Christmas special was also filmed that day, where Baby Cakes performed Three of a Kind, and I'm in the front row. But also filmed on that day was Jules Holland's Hootenanny that goes out on New Year's Eve. And we basically moved between studios. So
Oh,
I am
okay, yeah.
on
So you're
front
wearing that
row.
hat in all
Yeah,
3.
for Baby Cakes Three of a Kind and Franz Ferdinand Take Me Out on Jules
So
Holland's
you so
Hootenanny.
you literally so, like, identifiable, it's like you can't miss you.
I've got a white New Era cap on. It's absolutely wild.
Amazing. That is, do you know what? That is an amazing story. That is, and I'll be honest, you have literally been an amazing guest. I've lit
Thank you, my friend.
we're 2.5 hours in, and I don't even think I've blinked. It's been that interesting. I know you joked about beforehand and said no one's going to want to listen to anything you said, but I think we've had 10 people consistently in watching, so I'm really proud of that. So thank you for everybody for watching. And I think
Yeah.
a round of applause for yourself, because I think you've been an amazing guest. I've really enjoyed it.
Listen,
Thank you.
I'm grateful to be invited. I mentioned it at the start, but that was 2.5 hours ago. I'm grateful to be invited. I'm grateful to be invited.
I'm a bit
We've got
worried
the
I
same
can't afford.
ideas.
I'm a bit worried I can't afford the hourly fee that you're going to charge.
Bro, you don't honestly, I joked about that today. Someone said, "Oh, yeah, we're paying this influencer £1,000 an hour," and I was like, "It's less than me." I was like, "If you want me to do it, it's 5K." Like, I ain't doing this shit. Um, so yeah, I listen. I'm grateful to be asked. It's lots of fun. It's lovely to chat. Like, I think the work that you do on this channel, you described yourself as lazy earlier. I think it's hard work. I think it's easy to
No,
press.
it is a hard. I mean, Pete, hopefully still watching it. Pete does a lot more than I do. He's consistently out, but it is a hard slog. And yeah, there's little reward, but I've really got back into it, and I'm enjoying it now, and I'm hoping that I can just keep it a consistent
Yeah,
thing. But yeah,
good on you. Thanks for
thank you,
having me.
buddy. No, I really appreciate it. And if for anyone who's joined late, my next big book that I'm trying to get is my first Golden Age book, and Sunil has very much been involved in that process, and hopefully we can find something together.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna find you something glorious.
Yes, and as well, I wanna thank you personally as well for helping me out with the Manchester United tickets for the FA Cup semi-final a few weeks back.
God,
Couldn't
God,
have got that opportunity without you, and I really want to
that
thank
was
you for that.
almost an awkward afternoon for you.
It was, it was, it was. We don't talk about it though. We don't talk about it.
What do you mean? You're in a final. I
It
will
could
be
have been
there on.
worse. Could have been for
Oh
the Palace game last week.
my God, honestly, watching Eze breeze past Kobe Manu.
I know. It.
I
I
cuss
mean,
out.
everyone's saying it's almost like an audition for him, but it's just um, I can't, it's a horrible being a Manchester United fan at the moment.
It's tough.
Horrible.
It's tough.
I mean, you'll probably agree. Like a few years back for yourself, it's hard
Bleak.
going, and you're hoping there's light at the end of the tunnel, but I can't see it at the moment.
No, I mean it's always darkest before the dawn, right? But it does feel like a season where you end up in eighth and with a minus point goal difference is is
Yeah.
is, is not is not a great end. Not sure about Giles. It's not a great end to the season. But I'm at the game on
Sunday.
Sunday. I might be at the Newcastle game. I'm unsure about that. It's a bit of a pain in the backside. I'm playing on the pitch on the 23rd.
What?
Yeah, I'm playing. I'm a curial winger. I'm playing on the pitch on the 23rd of May, and then I'll be at the cup final on the 25th, and that will be the end of my United run. Although I
Is
might
there
go
any
to LA.
way? Is there any way I can come and watch on the 23rd?
I mean, it's a working day, James. So I don't know how likely that is.
Oh, is it actually? Is it what? Is it midweek? Is it like a
Yeah,
Thursday or
Thursday.
something?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, all right.
Can you get a day off work?
I could potentially, yeah. What to go to Old Trafford to watch,
No, if you're coming, you got to bring your boots.
mate? You don't understand. You do. It's just like I would love
I'll,
to.
listen. We've got. It's 11 aside. Obviously,
Yep.
we play 36 people. It's a big pitch. You've got to have rolling subs because people don't last 45
Yeah.
minutes
Yeah.
on
Okay.
that size pitch. Like it's rolling subs, so you're coming on and off. Our two guest coaches for the afternoon, Ronnie Jensen,
Yep.
Andy Cole.
Andy Cole. Oh,
Andy
not
Cole
bad.
is managing. Andy Cole is managing my team. Um, yeah. If I
That
can
is
find a spare
incredible,
slot, I will let you know with a couple of days' notice.
mate.
But there is a chance. There is a chance.
Matt, I would kill. No, like literally, that is like the ultimate dream.
I
Yeah,
played last year. It was wonderful.
was it?
I won 4-1 on that pitch. Got a trophy.
Didn't you? Wasn't there? Didn't I see a picture like you just scored or something?
Oh no,
Or you
I
just?
played in Munich.
Oh, it was
Uh,
Munich, right?
I played in Munich and I put Brian Robson on his arse.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly, he's a 60-year-old man, but he did play a World Cup.
Yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. That is incredible. Well,
Yeah, super fun.
well,
I'll let you know.
yeah, brilliant, brilliant. That is like, I'm shaking. Right, so we'll end it here. But thank you everybody for watching. Sunil, you have been an absolutely epic guest. Yeah, we can end it
God,
with that. But
I can never get the
if you
hang of it.
haven't, if you haven't already, check out Sunil's Instagram at illsun_comics. He has some fantastic some of his books are just absolutely incredible. He also sells on Whatnot. Please go and check out his Whatnot because they're just the funnest sales ever. And they couldn't be more genuine.
That's so shit.
You can pick up some absolute bargains. But yeah, and we'll end it with that. But thank you very much, Sunil, for joining us, and we'll see you guys later.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.